What's good, everybody? It's your boy Tevin Denzel, aka Tron DeLorean, aka Dago Soul, aka your girlfriend's favorite fat boy. And today was supposed to be a trio of successful black men in here, but you know what? We got the duo of successful black men. So you know what? We got numbers regardless, so I ain't gonna trip. Shout out Bobby. But as you guys may hear, but if not, I will formally introduce my boy. Welcome back, my brother Karama.
Yes, sir.
KC.
Always a pleasure.
Mr. KC, you already know.
Appreciate
What's on feet today, bro? Before we get any discussion, I got to get to what's on the feet today.
Oh.
What you got on?
I mean, something slight, you know.
Slight.
The little Khaled, the sail joints.
The cleanest colorway out of the pack, in my opinion.
That released, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, now the Friends and Family pack is a different, story, but now these are hard to me.
Because they mad. I mean, they're very Easter, of course, but they're mad versatile.
Yeah.
You can wear those summer, spring, whenever. They're not bright like the mango, whatever you want to call those. They're not like that. So
Which I can pull off, but.
Oh, well, you already know.
But, because I like that colorful stuff. But, these are they just clean, man. The sail, they got the Fresh Prince vibes to me. Like, I put them on and I was walking to the car and I caught a little glimpse of the reflection. I was like, yeah, I'm real Fresh Prince-ish.
Now, do you think that's where the inspiration he got those from was Fresh Prince? Or
I'm assuming. Yeah. I mean, but I can't see the fives and not think of the Fresh Prince anyway.
True.
And not because of the Fresh Prince fives, but because of watching him wear those.
Exactly.
That's that era. So
it's like whenever I look at Nike tracksuits, I can't help but think about Martin.
That part.
All the time.
That part.
That just goes
Or
hand
the Jordan
in
10.
Exactly, yeah.
When I see the Jordan 10, I'll think about Martin too.
Was that a Christmas episode?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. that he gave him to the little kid, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In Nipsey's. For one, I was like, why the fuck is there a kid in
Little
Nipsey's?
kid in Nipsey's. That part. It's like, who cares? Just let it rock.
That's how you know it's one of the forced 90s moments. You know what I mean?
Who cares? Just let it rock.
You got a whole bar full of
It's a whole bar, homie. I just little 8-year-old nigga in a whole bar.
Yeah, orphan in the bar, man. That shit never made sense, but it made sense at the time. It was like, you know what?
And then I was young when that came out, so I didn't even think about it. And then you go back and you watch it.
Like,
how that makes sense?
None of this shit makes sense. Just like Wayans Bros, Marlon always had a fresh pair on, but never had no money. Like, didn't
that part? Tommy from Martin. I'm like, you be bougie fly, but you ain't got no job.
That's got to be one of the greatest like sitcom mysteries. What did Tommy do?
That part. Besides get the draws.
That's it. BTD. That's it. That's all he ever did. I don't get it. Even then, he was infamous though. He was just
rest
infamous.
in peace, Tommy.
Yes, sir. But back to the fives though. Those are my favorite of the Khaled drop. I hate it on him because it's Khaled. I don't know if you know. I just don't like Khaled. I don't know what it is.
I can see him being a polarizing figure.
I just can't stand DJ. No matter what he does, I just can't.
I love it.
I rock with the music.
I love it. No, I love Khaled. Like, it's annoying as fuck, but I think it's purpose. Like, he leans into it. You know what I'm saying? And I like people that lean into
it's just who you are. You know what I mean? Like, you market it the right way.
Right. And I mean, if you really a hip hop head, Khaled is
he's been
certified. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he used to be I'm trying to think of his producer name. It was if I wasn't on this mic, it'd came straight to me. Novocaine. It was either DJ Novocaine or Novocaine.
Yeah.
But he was producing for Fat Joe.
Back in the day, I remember that.
Yeah.
Wayne did an interview and was talking about that.
Right. So, I mean,
like
it was Beat Novocaine. That's what it was, Beat Novocaine.
He was actually spinning records.
Yeah, but then he also was producing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he didn't earn his stripes, and my clients get tired of me because they'll be like, okay, is this the last set? Another one. They be like, I hate you and hate Khaled too.
I don't know. The five pack, I was like, I want to be one of them cats that finds them at the outlet. That is my goal, is to find them at the outlet and get them. That's the only way I would cop, but.
Yeah. I mean, but they below retail now, which is crazy to me because it's a really good shoe.
It's a 5.
The material, everything, until that becomes the next wave, because wasn't nobody checking for 4s before.
True.
That became the wave. Now, 4s kind of came neck and neck with 1s and dunks as far as the go-to hype beast sneakers.
It's crazy because the reimagined 3s dropped, and I was like, I got to get both of my pairs now because it's going to skyrocket. But now you getting them for like a little bit above retail.
Yeah, and it's crazy because 3s and 4s to me are like almost tied for the greatest Jordan of all time. To me, my favorite Jordan. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? For me, if I had to pick an all-time favorite shoe, it's probably the Black Cement 3.
Yeah.
But the Black 4 is right there duking it out with it. You know what I'm saying? Like those two, I know the Concord 11 is the
it's up there too,
the go-to answer, but to me it's that the 3 and the 4.
3 and the 4, most definitely. Most iconic shoes. I mean, when I think of the 3, I immediately think of the Spike Lee Jordan commercial.
Yeah.
No, immediately comes to mind. Jordan 4, what would come to mind with Jordan 4?
To me, it's the shot over Craig Elo.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When he got his feet kicked up behind him, and then he after he hits it, he hit the Arsenio Hall.
Yeah.
Fist pump.
That's how we know we talk from 2 different generations of sneakers, because I think you relate the shoes to Jordan directly.
Yeah.
Like shots that you saw.
Yes.
Where you watched him play. You wanted to be like Mike in the shoes.
I remember in elementary school, probably in like 3rd, 4th grade, I would sit and like draw, you know what I'm saying, Michael Jordan, and draw the Jordan, draw the Jordan 3, draw the Jordan 4.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or like get a magazine, I get a picture, there's like Hoops, Hoops magazine or something. And I, you know what I'm saying, I take the little paper and I try to trace over it and then make it like little kid stuff.
You know what I mean? Have your own sketches and everything.
Yeah, man. And then like I remember watching him hit that shot over Elo.
Yeah.
I mean, I was young. But I remember that shot, and it was just like, oh, and that's as a Laker fan.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
See, me, I've watched a lot of the games, but watching them back when
exactly.
NBA TV was popping, like they put on like on the weekend, I'd watch them after school, record them to watch and everything. But like I'm growing up, like kind of living through the ads. Like when I was buying the shoes, they were being retroed or re-retro. So my whole stance is like, I'm going back and I'm seeing these things. Like when shoes drop, I'm sure when there's like a theme like the free throw line, before they even really announce it, you could probably see the bottom and say, oh yeah, that might be the free throw line. Yeah. Me, I'm like, what the fuck is this red line? Did he step out of bounds with the 3? Like,
right, yeah.
What game was this like a controversial, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like for me, I got to go back and look, because my main thing in shoes was looking at old Soul Collector magazines or Double XL, seeing them in Eastbase, and kind of looking at, I like that model, then going to Nike talking, find a history there. But now it's like, nope, nobody has to do that.
Oh yeah, I mean you have the internet.
It's given to you,
yeah. You have the internet.
The story is built, but some shoes drop with no story.
And even
like
being able to secure the shoes is different.
Oh yeah.
From the standpoint of now, just about everything initially sells out. Air quotations.
And it's delivered to you.
Right.
Not in
and
you
shipping. And it used to be like if you lived in a certain region, you really had to go hard to get a certain shoe.
Yeah.
Now it's like it don't matter where you at. If you want a certain shoe, you just hop on StockX, hop on eBay, on GOAT, hop on whatever platform, and you can get them.
Yeah.
Which is dope because it opens that avenue for people to get the shoes.
Yeah.
But then it also takes away that exclusivity, and it takes away that like thrill of the hunt.
You had to be there for it.
Because now it's just like, if you got the bread.
Yeah.
Before it was like you'd have to have the bread and actually know somebody or
know where to go to get them.
Or know where to go, right.
I was telling my girl, she wanted these pink dunks, and I was like, babe, before, to get a dunk, you had to usually go to like, maybe like Journeys or somewhere, go in the store.
Which is funny too, SB. And Journeys used to get the
Journeys used to have the collegiate pack.
I was going to say they had the J pack.
Yep.
Which was crazy even back then, but it's like if those, in today's climate, it would have been nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the black with the cement, the white, like the true blue colorway
really
pair was crazy. Like those are, and had Journeys, you know what I'm saying? Like they were Journeys exclusive.
San Diego would have the SBs in there.
That part. You know what I'm
you
saying?
go in there and they be on clearance and shit in there. I was telling her, I was like, back in the day, you had to know where to go. You had to know somebody. Now, you go on Twitter, you can follow a page. They'll send you a notification of when it's dropping, a direct link. Sometimes, if there's a certain size available, the link will pull up that size for you.
Right.
Or people can send you a link and say, hey, send me $20. I have a size 9 in my cart.
Yeah.
All you got to do is check out.
Yeah.
But back in the day, you had to figure out who was dropping them, who was going to have them. You had to figure out what store, because some stores had different stock.
Yeah.
It wasn't like you go on stock, or not StockX, but you go on, sneakers and the whole stock is there. You just had to take your shot.
Right.
Some stores got 5 pairs.
You had to ask, like, how many...
Yeah, how many I got?
If you knew, and this is if you knew, you know what I'm saying, like somebody there even. Or, saying day of, it's like, if you lined up, or, you know what I'm saying,
if
it's
you camped
like, okay,
out, which store we going to camp out at?
And it wasn't someone buying it to flip. Because now it's, what size are you getting? And it's almost like, well, what size is going for the highest right now?
Exactly. Which one can
Whereas
I profit off the
four is
most?
like, okay, so you're a size 9. Cool, I'm straight. You're a 11. Cool. Okay, you're a 7.5. Cool. Okay, so they should have at least They should have at least one 10 and a half.
Yep.
So I'm good because I'm number 4 online, and the 3 people in front of me ain't grabbing that size.
Yep, they all 8,
now
9,
it's
12.
like, oh well, a 10 and a half is going for so. And now in the back of my head, I'll be like, if this goofy gets this shoe and I don't get it, I ain't gonna put hands on him. But in my mind, I'm gonna put hands on him.
Yeah, it speaks to the culture though, because before we go to camp outs, and we went to camp out and went to Fashion Valley, mostly SDS was there, but you knew somebody there. But now you go to a camp out, there's cats you've never seen anywhere.
Oh yeah, and they abuelita and
yep,
you know what I'm saying, they nana and everybody else.
We went to
and they 4-year-old nephew.
We went to the spot, Arts and Rec. We went to Arts and Rec.
Yeah.
So we went and we got the raffle tickets. Me and my
Shout
girl
out
was in the back.
Kelly.
And I was like, all right, well, you get a pair. You get a ticket. I get a ticket. Let's just, help me out. And there was this girl who came in with her mom, her grandma, her kids. There was about 12 people in the family. Mm-hmm. And I shit you not, we watched. They got 4 pairs. Yeah. And this back when it was like the Why So Sad SB. Uh-huh. And I was like, they got 4 pairs, and we knew they were resellers because they were at the last Arts.
Yeah, at the right.
And I was like, so they together got about almost 10 pairs of these joints.
Yeah.
And none of them are going to go on their feet. And again, I'm not going to hate because, hey, you do what you got to do.
I mean, the game is what the game is.
It is very much so.
Anything. So you can get upset, but once you have, after that initial, little anger or whatever, it's like, okay, well, either you move on or you figure out how you're going to get your own pair, but.
So how you feel about the culture now where it's just, before I felt like anyone was invited, of course.
Oh, no, yeah, of course.
It was very much like a niche culture, but now it's like
that was the word right there, niche.
Everybody out here is a sneakerhead, allegedly. Yeah. So how do you feel with the culture being widely accepted, but also just like there's no gatekeeping? How does that?
Well, to me, it's just it's watered down, but with anything, there's always a silver lining to it, right? So, for example, with it being so watered down with the hype things, a lot of stuff that I personally might like, or you might personally like, because you actually love sneakers, right? You can get for the low, right? Yep. So certain things I already know it's gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna have to, pay extra or call in a favor. Yeah. But then stuff that I love that isn't considered heat, that's a brick. Yeah. I'm like, okay, cool, I get that for the low. So it's the give and the take, right? Yeah. It sucks that it's like Pogs to people. I just aged myself for real, but it's like Pogs, or it's like Pokemon cards, or it's like whatever, or comic books at one point, or baseball cards at one point, to where it's like, okay, this is the current fad. I'm on this wave. Yeah. Which, I mean, that's just human nature, I guess.
That's anything. It was only a matter of time before sneakers became
right, or Beanie Babies
thing.
Or something, right?
Yeah.
But then there are the people that actually do this, right? It's like, yo, I genuinely have a love for this. Like, this is something that I'm passionate about. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just that's just is what it is, like.
It's but my girl was like, "Do you ever get mad?" I'm like, I mean, it can be irritating because
that's the word, right? But to get mad is
I'm not gonna
too
get
much
mad.
energy.
Yeah, because I mean, who knows? I mean, and also the back end is like, I won't pay someone $400 over retail, but another sneakerhead who's in the position and who might have kind of preemptively saved will. At the end of the day, their shoes will still always, in my opinion, land in the hands of someone who truly wants it.
And there's always the next release.
Yep.
So
that goes up. See, you man, like you already. Did you read my notes beforehand? Or what?
I did not, but great minds think alike.
My next thing was like with sneakers. Also, the reason I don't really get irritated is because we don't have enough time these days, I feel, to really enjoy that last sneaker week out. Right. As soon as you get that sneaker that you've been watching since it was first announced to be re-released or released, the next sneaker's coming out.
Which
the new raffles are
and that presents an opportunity though, because what happens is with a lot of stuff, people initially buy it up to try to flip. Yeah. But if they get stuck with it, or now it's time to move on to the next release, that isn't the flavor of the month now. So then it's like, okay, you just go back and, you basically just stay behind one release. Yeah. One or two releases, right? Like everybody is going to be hype on the Thunder 4s or, whatever the next release is. So that's when it's your little opening to hop in and get the Pine Green 4, right? Yeah. Or that's your opportunity to go back and scoop the Reimagined 3.
That's what's good to have a list.
Ain't nobody thinking about it, right? Yeah. And then by having that list, it almost causes you to prioritize, okay, these are hard, but these are harder to me. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, if I have to pick between the two, this is the one I want.
Yeah. You really got to put your money toward it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's like, okay, let me knock that off, and then boom. But like you said, I mean, there's always the next release. So, and at the end of the day, material.
It's a fucking shoe.
It's a luxury. You know, not a luxury item as far as like the Lexus or something, but it's a luxury. Like, to be able it's not a necessity.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, shoot, sometimes you got to things that you have to take care of or different responsibilities where it's like, okay, hey, that's gonna have to wait. You know what I'm saying? It'll be there.
Yeah. Like I just recently, we found mold in my room. Like
I seen on your story.
I lost about 10 to 12 pairs because they were on the bottom and they had mold on them. I cleaned them up, but the smell was in there and they were older pairs. So honestly, like there was one pair was like fully molded.
Yeah.
Like, this thing went from being like, I think it was like tan and it was like greenish brown. It was bad. So I was like, babe, well, we can do this, put them in the washer. I looked this up. I'm like, honestly, it's you know what I mean? Like it's a shoe.
It's like nipping Black Sam, burying the money in the backyard.
Yeah, I'm just like,
some of it was moldy. We had to just whatever we can salvage from it.
Exactly. So I'm like, you know what I can keep, I'll keep. Everything else is like, it did its purpose, and it's a shoe.
That's the perspective you have to have. It's like it's something that we're passionate about. Of course, we wouldn't be sitting there talking about it right now, but there's still perspective. At the end of the day, we blessed to even have that as something that annoys us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's some people that don't have shoes, period.
Exactly. This is first, like we were at the store.
Super first world problems. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you just remind yourself like, man, it is what it is.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? This is a want, not a need.
Yeah, we were in downtown La Mesa and this homeless man was sleeping on the bench across the street from us. And this dude had a pair of shoes and he took them off. No insole, and he took them off, and them things were just like folded.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm over here like in my game room, like, oh, what pair do I wear today? This man is like, I don't know when I'm gonna get my next pair. Right, so like it humbles you, like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, I didn't get this pair that I really wanted, and that person got them, but also it's like it's a shoe. The fact that you just hit the nail on the head, the fact that I have the ability to even make this decision in itself is a blessing.
Speaks to how blessed I am.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I mean, we're passionate about this. We love this. But it's always keeping things in perspective. It's not, it's still just a sneaker.
Yeah, because, I mean...
It's a sneaker that you might really, 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 really want.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day...
It's still just a sneaker right there.
You know what I'm saying? Like...
Because she'll see me out there and she's like, oh, well, you know, babe, like, why don't you go for these? Or do you get mad when, like, this kid over here has them on and you see you wanted those? I'm like... Not really, because at the end of the day, like, I'm never gonna hate on somebody for what you got.
No, exactly.
I can go in my closet and I got some shit that
you ain't got.
Most cats that you ain't even know what they are.
Exactly. And I mean, I've never understood. I understand, but I've never understood hating. Yeah. Period. You know what I'm saying? Just
because you don't know what that man or that person did to get that. Yeah.
It's like, look, man, like I ain't in nobody else's pockets.
Yeah, exactly.
I ain't concerned about. I'm either like, yo, big up to that person, or not really, or not really caring enough to feel one way or the other.
Yeah.
But to actually have
animosity
towards another person about something, especially some materials, like
I'm like, congrats to you.
You need to reevaluate some things.
Yeah. Plus, that person he could have saved for months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even at work, they're like, you see people out here with shoes. Like, is it hard for you to like keep buying shoes when anyone can get them? I'm like, no. I mean, anybody can get food and water. I'm not gonna stop eating and drinking because you know what I mean. Like it's a material thing. I love sneakers. It is my passion, like you just said. It's our passion, but also most of my connections in life are through sneakers.
Yeah, and that's a broader thing about it is that it brings people together. It has the ability to bring people together.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. If you got the right mindset, just like hip hop, just like sports, things that bring people that otherwise probably wouldn't cross paths or wouldn't be friends or wouldn't, It's like, oh, we have this common denominator. We have this common bond.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, this dude kind of cool. He a little bit different than me, but I rock with him.
At the baby shower, man, I had people who were just
it was the United Colors of Benetton.
It really was, man. I had the punk rock crowd, the parents, the street cats. I had everyone mixed in, but it was all literally just through sneakers. Mm-hmm. Like 99%, of maybe a few I went to high school with outside of sneakers, but most of y'all was through sneakers, and it's just seeing somebody with a pair on or seeing them on Instagram, and then having a conversation about shoes.
Yep, and it just boom. Okay, like I like this person.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I don't like this person.
So I got a question for you.
You're a goofy. I don't rock with you.
There was a thing on Twitter, and I think ATAF may have posted it, but it was like some dude was like, "If you only have Jordans, you can't call yourself a sneakerhead." That to me was the craziest take ever.
That was goofy. I mean, a lot of times people, in an effort to not sound like a gatekeeper or to sound like to sound contrarian, kind of point out their own goofiness.
Yeah.
And I mean, just my thought on that because I know what post you're talking about. Yeah. To me, it's like how you can't dictate to somebody else what certifies them. Like, who are you to? You ain't the authority on what, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And to me, it's like if you got a love for sneakers for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying? Who am I to say, oh, well, you're not a sneakerhead the way that I want you to be a sneakerhead.
You don't wear New Balance. You can't be a sneakerhead. It's like, you only wear basketball shoes.
That's what you know what I'm saying? That's what you rock with. That's what appeals to you. So, you know what I'm saying? Hey, more power to you. That might not appeal to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I can't say somebody's not a hip hop head because they don't like an MC that I like, right? I'm not the biggest MF Doom fan. Yeah. Right? And I mean, he's cool, you know what I'm saying? But I know people that, he's better than Jay-Z. And I'm like, what you smoking on me? You just being contrarian to be contrarian. Yeah. But I know some people, well, if you don't listen to A$AP Rock and, you know what I'm saying, whatever, underground hip hop group, then you're not really into
listen to Tech Nine, you're not into hip hop, you're just commercial.
It's like maybe Tech Nine doesn't appeal to my sensibilities. Now, I will give him his props. He's incredible. Yeah. At what he does. It's just what he does isn't necessarily
doesn't adapt to what you do
in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But even taking it back to sports, there are certain basketball players whose style of play didn't appeal to me, and other players that style appealed more to me, right? Mm-hmm. But that doesn't take away from their greatness. It's just that's not for me, right? Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett. Tim Duncan is one of the greatest power forwards of all time. Kevin Garnett's one, right? Yeah. But Tim Duncan is like, number one, he played for the Spurs, so it was like, bang, bang, Laker gang. I'm cool off of y'all. Plus, his game was more
fundamental.
It was fundamental, right? It was fundamentally sound, and there wasn't as much flair. Yeah. Right. Whereas KG, he yelling and screaming, and he used to rock J's, and you know what I'm saying, he listened to hip hop, and you know what I'm saying, he dressed fly when you see him off the court, and he had that hip hop sensibility, right?
Yeah. Whereas first time I ever heard say nigga on the court too.
That part.
When I was a kid, I was like, what?
That part.
Kid, I was like, they talk like we do.
So I was like, you know what I'm saying, like just his whole style and persona was more up my alley than Tim Duncan. Yeah. But Tim Duncan is still, I can appreciate his greatness. It's just, if I'm going to go on YouTube and look at highlights, I ain't watching Tim Duncan. I'm going to watch KG. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Or Charles Barkley to Karl Malone. Like, to me, I mean, Karl Malone's a pretty garbage human being.
And that's a whole other podcast.
But, right, that part. But even his game is like, a little goofy layup he would make doing stuff. For me, it was Chuck. You know what I'm saying? Chuck was Chuck D personified on the court. You know what I'm saying? And he was, he was dunking. He had the ill shoes and the ill, signature line and everything. And his game appealed to me more than Karl Malone. But that doesn't take away from Karl Malone's greatness. John Stockton to Tim Hardaway. I could not make.
We can go on for days with this for sure.
Yeah, and I couldn't make a valid argument that Tim Hardaway had a better career than John Stockton. That's ludicrous. Yeah. But I like Tim Hardaway 1,000 times better. Yeah. He had skills. And he had the air raids. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he was just that dude, man. Like, that was my guy. Yeah. So, and that was a super tangent, but you can have your preference and still not dismiss the greatness of something else.
Exactly.
Or the validity of something else.
Because then at that point, you're just saying, okay, well, in order for me to be, valid to people, I got to have this brand. I got to have that brand. For me, for the longest time, I was like, my boy, shout out Dre, was like, New Balance is where it's at. I was younger in high school. Okay, I got to get some New Balances. Hated them. It wasn't until I found a pair of 574s in high school where I was like, yo, I really like New Balances in my wheelhouse now. Yeah. I can rock New Balances now. Even with Nike, they're like, bro, all you wear is Jordans and Air Force Ones. Like, step out of your comfort zone. All right, bet. What else? Cortez. Got a pair of Cortez. I like them. But then I also went out and I got like some Jordan 2s and I got some, I can't think of the names. I saw them the other day. They were Terminators. Pair of Terminators, and I was like, I don't like how they feel, and I don't like how they look on my feet.
Right.
I respect them, but they're just not for me. But you don't have to be into everything to be a sneakerhead.
Exactly.
Because you can say someone's an alcoholic, but all they drink is vodka. You can't say, oh,
you're not
you don't drink
no
cognac, you don't drink no tequila, you don't know alcohols. No, it's like if you love something and you are passionate about it and you do it to the most extent, you are ahead in that case.
Yeah.
Crackhead, sneakerhead, alcoholic, like, you know what I mean? Serial cheater, like, you know what I mean? You don't have to have a wide variety of it. Yeah. I mean, come on, like, you can, someone smoke crack, they can smoke bottom grade crack.
Right.
Or you can get a rapper who's the top of the line crack.
It's still crack.
It's still a crackhead. You still in that, you're on the spectrum of crackhead. You know what I mean? Just, in sneakers, you're on the spectrum of sneakerheads.
But no, I mean,
don't understand that.
And you, for me, it's like, okay, certain shoes hold a certain place, sentimental place to me for my own particular reasons, right? My son is 22. So a shoe that I think is dope, he'd be like, oh, those are whack. Yeah. And it's like, they're whack to you and that's fine. But the reason why they're dope to me is because I remember in 9th grade when they dropped, or I remember when I watched this player, you know what I'm saying, drop 35 points in them, or I remember when, you know, Crisscross had I'm not a big Ewings fan, but when Crisscross had the Ewings, or when they had the Bordeaux 7s, right? Yeah. And I'm that same age, and I'm looking like, yo, those was fire. Like, oh, man. You know, so that shoe might hold a certain place. Yeah. Whereas for you, because you don't have that connection, it's like, what do you like about those? You know what I'm saying? Which is understandable. Just like you might have a certain connection to something that doesn't appeal to me, but I understand why it appeals to you. So it's all relative. It's all about what resonates with you.
Yeah. I think that's why the reimagined threes didn't really hit with many people. I feel, because right now there's just so much out there for people to get. I think with the threes is because they're a dope shoe, but they came out and there were so many pairs.
That's what that's what I was gonna say. You hit the nail on the head. It's because there were so many pairs. Yeah. Which is,
and right now I think a lot of people are stuck on hype and exclusivity.
Right.
Sneakerheads have this weird thing to where a lot of us want exclusivity, but we also want to be able to get the shoe. Right. We want to be popular. Right. Like, you're never going to get that middle ground.
It's like a Venn diagram or something.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think with those, they came out, they were done nicely. Yeah, there were some defects here and there. Yeah. Otherwise, though, it was a beautiful shoe.
Exactly. And it's literally one of the most iconic Jordan sneakers. I don't care who you are, there's no debating that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, debate your mama. There's no debating that. You might not like it. Yeah. But there is no debating that it's an iconic shoe. And once again, if people heard that the stock numbers were, you know what I'm saying, a third of what they are, then they, you know what I'm saying, or, you know, they couldn't get them, or if the resale value was higher. Yeah. Like, resale value shouldn't be a barometer for whether something's hot or not. You know what I'm saying? So,
but it sadly is.
But cool. That means that the people that really want them can get them for a reasonable price. So shoot it.
Sneakers, it's like if it's not rare, if it's not, you know, going for a lot, it's like the shoe doesn't matter. And to me,
it's a brick.
I don't really. Excuse me, y'all, as I reset my station.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't really mind that, because in my head, like, if I put it in my mind that I want it, and I watched the video or had them in hand, I'm like, all right, they look real deal. I'm gonna get them. I got a list of shoes. We talked last time, the Shimas. I knew I wanted them Shima joints.
But that's what's dope to me about you, as far as both of us, you know what I'm saying, we might like certain hype sneakers. Yeah. But then it's also those niche type of sneakers that it's like, yo, these for you, I know why that shoe is big to you, right? Yeah. Even if it's a thing of like, man, I had these back when I was in high school, or man, I wanted these when I was in high school and I couldn't get them, and then, you know what I'm saying? So there's that certain connection there, like with the Supreme Air Bacon. Woo. Right? It's basically going for retail. Yeah. Cool, right? That shoe is fire to me. The original Tim Hardaway wore those. You know what I'm saying? And then I remember the controversy behind them, because on the back it had the air, and it was in the silhouette of like flames. Yeah. And it looked like Allah in Islamic in Arabic. Thank you. In Arabic, so the Muslim community, was like, yo, nah, y'all gotta get, you know what I'm saying? I see it, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I see the.
You think that's what it was, though? You think that was?
No, that's exactly what it was. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, so when they, they had to go back and take that off
Nike
the back.
Was doing that on purpose?
No. Nah, it wasn't purpose, of course. But I seen why they said, oh, it looks too much. You know what I'm saying?
It did, though. You know
right. And if you put the two next to each other, it's clearly a difference. But I can see how it's like, at a glance, it's like, that's blasphemous. You got Allah on the back of your shoe. Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? Respect your culture, respect your, you know what I'm saying, your religion. They had to yank that, right?
Yep.
But, so, and they, they came back out with just a regular Nike Air on the back. But that shoe was so fire to me. Tim Hardaway wore them on the Heat. Yeah. Mitch Richmond wore them with the Kings. You know what I'm saying? It was like a dope shoe.
I want a pair of Bacon since high school.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So then when they
in a good condition.
So then when they did the Supreme joints, I was like, yeah, I need those. That's one thing I like that Supreme does, is how they kind of pick models that it's like that if you know kind of models. Yeah. As opposed to and sometimes they pick the, kind of go-to models for most people. But I like when they pick those kind of
you don't expect them to go out and grab those.
Yeah, and it's like, ooh, I like that they picked that silhouette. Dope.
The up tempos, when they did the
more up tempo, which is one of my all-time favorite shoes.
I was shook because I'm like, this isn't the show I would have expected from y'all.
But that's why I like that they do that.
So then it made me want to go back, though, because Supreme is just, they like to go back and find shit that people skate in. They're still very skateware. I was like, but foam posits, I know nobody was skating in foam. Yeah. But I was like, so I'm looking back and it makes you want to go back and research what were people skating in. Because when I talk to skaters, they're like, I love low top shoes or shoes that don't have much cushion because you get the better board feel.
Yeah, board feel.
So I get Jordan 1s while those ones were SBs.
Dunks.
Jordan 4s, I heard that they just took out a lot of the padding. They made the back tab like flimsy. Yeah. Different things to get rid of that cushion in there. But I'm interested to see what else that they would bring back.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see what else that they could bring back. I'm surprised they haven't done a mock. I thought they would do a mock because I know a lot of sneakers. When I was growing up, the skaters, not sneakers, they would wear Van slip-ons a lot. Van slip-ons or the Eras because they were just easy to throw on real quick, but they were low. So I'm like, I wonder if they'd ever
relatively inexpensive. So
yeah, exactly. Something that they could just throw on, thrash up.
Yeah,
get a new pair.
New one.
Yeah,
get a new one, and you back in business.
So in my head, I'm like, Nike's been bringing back the mock. I got the blue pair in the outlet finally. So I'm like, I'm wondering, are they gonna come back with like a mock and put it on the SB? Like what?
I mean, see, hopefully, hope maybe somebody at Supreme is listening. You know what I'm saying?
It's just interesting because Supreme can go so many different directions. Because although their skatewear, they're very much in the street brand, so they can really go any direction.
Yeah, because I love I guess Supreme isn't as hype now as it was at one point. Yeah, but I love the connection to hip hop that they have. You know what I'm saying? Like, whether it be the Lil' Kim tee, whether it be the Andre 3000 tee, whether it be the Nas tee, whether it be the Gucci Mane tee, or the Dipset, when the Jim Jones and Joel's tee. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? All of those are like crazy. Like even the Al Green tee, like all of that.
They did the Malcolm X tee, and that shit blew my mind. I was like,
and I got mine.
I need a bigger size than mine, so I had to get rid of the XL I had. I was like, damn, I should have went for the bigger size.
I'll keep an eye out.
But it's cool to see because a lot of streetwear brands, like I feel like they get so caught up in the hype that they lose that originality. Yeah. But Supreme, even though they've been sold, they still have that originality in them to where it's like you can tie a new design back to an older design as far as the way that they do it and the way they market it. Like I didn't even get into Supremes until I got an SDS, to be honest. I didn't know about Supreme until I got an SDS and started talking to y'all more, and I was like, look, this is more shit that I didn't know about. Right. You know what I mean? Which I can appreciate. Stussy I was on. Yeah. Stussy Undefeated, I was on them.
Yeah, I think Stussy was just like kind of a West Coast staple anyway. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know about on the East Coast, but out here, Stussy was always kind of dope. Yeah.
It was those brands to where I'd go to high school. I went to high school with white kids, of course. But they're like, what is this, bro? You usually wear LRG. And I'm like, oh, this is undefeated. What's undefeated? And I was like, you'll find out if you need to.
Yeah, if you know, you know. You know
I was gatekeeping in high school. I won't lie. High school and college, but I gatekeeped a lot.
But you got to gatekeep to a certain extent. I think that's a buzzword that has a connotation to it, but we all gatekeep, right? Like, you got things that are valuable to us. You know what I'm saying? You can have, like, you want to be inclusive, but then you don't want culture vultures, right? Yeah. Air quotations. So, you know what I'm saying? It's just when it goes to the extreme of now you're too far on the other end of the spectrum to where it's like, you know, you the bouncer with the velvet rope, you know. It's like, all right, calm down, man.
Yeah, I will never tell somebody you can't be in this, but it's like, oh, where'd you get your shoes from? I'll be, you know, vague, like, oh, you know, sneakers, eBay, you know what I mean, normal shit. I mean, you got people who are lining up at certain spots, like Asylum up in Oceanside. Back in the day, if I wanted a SB, like, I knew
that was your go-to.
If I couldn't find it at Active, or if it wasn't at San Diego or Zoomies or whatever, I'm like, all right, I know I can go to Asylum.
There you go.
Have some in stock. People out here, for one, are trying to drive to Oceanside, which is a plus, but also don't even know it exists out there.
Right,
so
exactly.
It was cool. It was easy to go through there. A lot of people I knew growing up, they knew Foot Locker. Foot Locker, Champs, East Bay.
Right.
I mean, eBay itself was
Finish line.
eBay itself was like a very far end. I guess I got to try to get them.
Oh, yeah.
But now people immediately, it's like foot sites, raffles, StockX, then eBay.
Yeah.
That's like the totem pole right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. For me, I used to gatekeep a lot only because it was just like, if you didn't really know, you probably shouldn't know.
Yeah. And
not to be rude about it, but it's like, if you get into this, what are you gonna do with it?
Right.
Like nowadays, like I can't get mad at the reseller because it's the game.
Yeah. I mean, once again, it's a waste of energy to, like, whenever you're passionate about something, you're gonna have feelings about it. Yeah. But to take it to the extreme of like really to where it's, you know, rent free in your head. Exactly. It's kind of like, all right, you might need to reel it back a little bit.
You reevaluate what
like
you're doing
even
now.
with the Lakers, man. Like there was a point, and this is like when I was younger, where I would watch. You know, I still try to watch every game, but I would watch the game, and if they lost, it would really like affect my mood. It would really affect my mood. Like I would, you know, be in a bad mood and have a little attitude. And I'm like, bro, I'm putting too much stock in this. Like I'm always gonna be passionate. I'm always gonna love it. But now it's like, man, they threw that game away, man.
I still remember when we lost
back to real life.
We lost in Boston. I want to say it was like 08 or 09.
Yeah.
We lost in Boston. I did not want to go to school the next day. I was that emotionally hurt and drained from that series. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. I don't want to finish out this year. I'm just done. And I was like, bruh, like, and now the way we are
homeschool
now,
me.
No, for real, I was so done because I was talking shit the whole series. Like, nah, we got y'all.
Yeah.
Good game. We got y'all. All the Celtics fans at school and everything, and then we lost, and I was so hurt.
I know, yeah. I mean, I'd definitely be, you know,
want to deactivate my Facebook and all that shit.
It definitely, you know, you feel away, but then, you know, it's like, all right, take a breath and back to real life.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, see you next season or see you next game.
That's how I feel with shoes. And plus, it's like you can't blame a reseller because there's a market for it.
Right.
If none of us were trying to pay $450 for Nike 4SB, that person would either have to just keep it or dump it for what it paid.
Right.
So it's like, as long as someone out there has the money, like, you know, and even then I'm like, I can't get mad at the person with the money because you work for your money.
Right.
Or however you got your money. You did what you had to do, so that's your prerogative.
Yeah.
My prerogative is I ain't paying that goddamn much.
That part.
So
you know what I'm saying? But when there's a need, someone will supply.
Exactly. So I'm like,
word to push.
These days it's like just like it was back then.
Shout out to the Clips. You know what I'm saying? But when there's a need, someone will supply.
Exactly. I think, but again, like us, we tap back into the people we know, and 9 times out of 10, we find what we need.
No, exactly.
And pay what we want to pay. So it's like
that part.
You got to be connected.
Within reason.
Exactly. Yeah. Have all the bots in the world, but if you ain't got a connection to somebody, it only goes so far for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But spinning our world back into sports, though.
What up, though?
Man, so the Lakers, man.
Man.
We going second round?
I'm
in the second round or what? Where we going with this?
I think that the West, especially, is so wide open this year. In the East, it's a little more top heavy from the standpoint of Boston,
Philly's
Milwaukee, Philly. Outside of those three, off the top of my head, I don't see anyone having a realistic shot at coming out of the East. In the West, any of these teams could, you know, anybody could get it, right? Because if you look at Denver has the best record in the West. I'm not particularly scared of Denver.
No.
And I don't think any of the teams in the playoffs are just, you know, we don't want to. It's not like they, you know what I'm saying, the 96 Bulls or something.
Yeah.
Memphis. Don't really feel like nobody's scared of Memphis.
They're talented and they're young, but it's just like
Memphis feel like somebody little brother in they big brother's clothes, like trying to posture tough, trying to posture like they big, and it's like, bro, Calm down, Scrappy Doo. You know what I'm saying? Like,
got a lucky hit on the older kid at the park, and then you think,
it's
like,
like,
the big dogs.
simmer down, Scrappy Doo. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, and I like the Grizzlies. I like John Morant. You know what I'm saying? I like Jerry Jackson Jr.
So with your boy Brooks, how you feel about him?
And he got on my nerves. And he looked like what's it called? Gamora, not Gamora, but the little thing from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Which
the one that got the little things come out her forehead.
Oh, with the big ass eyes, oval eyes.
Yeah, it looked like that's what Dylan Brooks looked like to me. Like, you fake Matt Barnes. Like, you. I just don't like people that punch up at dudes they have no even right to say anything to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm mad that we didn't catch this probably while you was recording, but we were saying earlier how it's like you should have to have certain credentials before you can speak on certain
somebody,
people,
yep.
right?
Yeah.
Dylan Brooks, and I'm not Draymond Green isn't the end all be all to me, but you don't get to talk to Draymond Green. He's a champion on me.
He is.
And he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Teams are happy when you shoot.
Yeah.
They be happy when you shoot. You know what I'm saying? Like, you play pretty good defense. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, you ain't, and you haven't accomplished nothing. None of them have accomplished anything yet.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? So I like the hunger, and but it's almost like y'all leaning too much into this posturing. It's like, simmer down.
It's
you know
social media.
You don't get to say nothing to Golden State, homie. Like, until you beat them, you ain't beat them for nothing.
Yeah, and regular
they got
games
rings.
Don't count.
They are a dynasty, and this is coming from a Laker fan.
And they called themselves a dynasty, which is crazy. They said Memphis was a dynasty.
Yeah,
there's no dynasty there.
Simmer down with this nonsense. And like I mean, I'm rooting for John Morant. You know what I'm saying, on and off the court.
Even the bullshit he did, and people were hyping up him. I was like, honestly, he's a young player who was coming into his own in a city that is literally his city.
Yeah. I mean, I see both sides of it. And I've had this conversation with people. I don't like when people, look down their nose at people, especially when they've been in their shoes.
Yeah.
Just because you've grown out of something doesn't mean that, if anything, you should have more empathy towards that person, or more of a leaning to want to big brother them, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to judge and speak down on them. Yeah. But I'm also big on accountability, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't want to hear, well, John Morant's young. Okay, there's a lot of people that are young. You know what I'm saying? There's people that's younger than him that serve in the military. There's people that's younger than him that raise families. There's people that, you know what I'm saying? So I don't want to hear, he's young. Yeah, all right. Yeah. But I also do like to be empathetic towards people and to say, okay, look, it's where does it come from? Does it come from a malicious place when you're trying to help somebody hold somebody accountable? Or does it come from a judgmental place? Or does it come from like a malicious judgmental place? Or does it come from a place of love, right? So certain ex-players, you hear them talk about it, and it's like, bro, I was around when you was playing. I remember the goofy stuff that you was doing. You was doing the same stuff. You just didn't get caught.
Yeah.
But then I like Jalen Rose. I like how Jalen Rose approached it, as far as Jalen Rose was like, look, I was John Morant. You know what I'm saying? If you was around and, you know what I'm saying, you remember the Fab Five, you remember, like, he was in that life. Yeah. So for him, rather than judge, he was like, look, learn, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me kind of give you some game. That's how I feel like you should
big bro him in the proper way,
in the right way, right? Same thing with Steven Jackson. I like the way that he was on it. He was like, look, we was doing the same stuff, if not worse.
Only difference is there wasn't cell phone cameras.
Yeah, so thankfully I've grown out of this. So now that I've grown out of this, instead of looking down on you, let me help bring you up, or let me help hip you to how to navigate this, as opposed to, shame on you, you know what I'm saying? And you hold people accountable, but you hold them accountable with love, not, you know what I'm saying?
The whole strip club thing to me was corny. As a strip club owner, like, why would you release the footage and the video? To me, I'm like, why would you put that out?
And I don't even know that but I mean, stuff like that's going to end up getting out. Yeah. But that's on him. Going back to the accountability aspect, you're a grown man, though. Like, why are you in the club with that little starter pistol flashing? You had to go out of your way to go on. Like, you had to go into Instagram. Yeah. Go to live, decide to broadcast, decide to pull the gun out. Like, you made these decisions. Yeah. Right? So you got to be accountable.
For true, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And So hopefully you learn. But at the end of the day, like nothing life shattering happened. You know what I'm saying? There was, it was just a bad
coachable moment, which I think is all good.
It's a teachable moment. So now it's like, okay, look, hopefully he learned from it. Hopefully he come back from it. I like how Gilbert Arenas came at it. Gilbert Arenas was like, look, I'm going to tell you how it's going to go. This is what you're going to have to do to get back in the good graces. Yeah. But hopefully you get back in the good, in the good graces, because he was basically saying, look, you was on that tier. You was on that top tier you was one of the faces of the NBA, that next generation.
For sure.
And now they not going to keep you there. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to have to earn that back. And it's going to take probably 2-3 seasons before you can really get that back. Yeah. And it was just funny because the way that he was approaching it was almost like trolling and comical, but you could tell that he was also
serious with it.
Serious. It was also like, saying it from a place of like, y'all want to see you win. Yeah. So not saying it from a place of ha. You know what I'm saying? So, but because if you old enough, you remember Gilbert Arenas with the guns in the locker room and everything else. So
I remember when that story came out, I was like, wait, what?
Like, what?
Why you got
Bro,
guns?
why?
They're in practice. Like, what you doing?
Bro, we talking about practice?
Like, what the fuck is going on? What is going on out there in Washington?
Oh, shoot.
And then I remember, shit, they in D.C. So maybe that makes more sense.
Nah, he was just being a knucklehead.
Makes more sense than I think.
He was just being a knucklehead, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
So speaking of Gilbert Arenas, he made a comment about like load management. And he was saying that I guess the Detroit Pistons, referring to the Bad Boys, were the first team to ever get like a PJ.
Okay.
Essentially. He was like, so the reason that they were, a little bit fresher than other teams was because other teams had to take charter buses or, get in commercial
flights, right.
But these dudes, they were in the next city the same night.
These are large individuals getting, you know what I'm saying? It ain't like, we regular size people getting on the plane.
Yeah.
These dudes is 7 feet tall, 6 foot 6 tall, getting on a plane crunched up after, so
having to catch it right after he was
so it's definitely an advantage when you can, sprawl out and, so I could see that.
But there was like two different conversations. But what do you feel about load management these days? Like, how do you feel?
That's another one where I see both sides, and I think that there's a happy medium that you got to try to strike.
Yeah.
So there's so much money in these players' pockets.
Yeah.
These owners who are billionaires, millionaires, multimillionaires, billionaires, they're spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
This is an investment, right? I'm invested $280 million into this player, right?
Now, I want y'all to hear what you just said. $280 million. If you look at what they get, that's in one player.
That's
not even talking about the trainers, the coach.
Whole, right?
That's one player. So continue, but this.
So you know what I'm saying. So if I have this $280 million investment, which not to commoditize people, but that's what it is.
Yeah,
it's an investment. So I can run them into the ground and get 5 good seasons out of this investment.
Yeah.
Or I can talk to my trainers, talk to my physicians, talk to my analytics people. Okay, if they play this many back-to-backs, the analytics say that their chances of injury, rise this percent, and so I understand.
You got to play the numbers game.
I understand.
Yeah.
But I also understand as a fan, I'm a Laker fan. I try to get up to 1 game a season. That's something that I try to do, right? And that's a privileged position.
Yeah.
So literally when I went to the game recently, I literally was looking at the schedule like, okay, is this a back-to-back? Because then this person's probably going to sit. Okay, is this the third game in this many nights? Because I don't want to spend that money, and this is my one opportunity to go up there, and then my favorite player is sitting.
Yeah.
Right? So I love how Kobe was like, look, if I can get out there, I'm going to get out there.
That's the first person I think about.
No, exactly.
This fan paid to come see me play.
Right. This might be their only opportunity. Yeah. So I love that attitude. But then I also understand, okay, I want to play this game for as long as I can.
Yeah.
So if the trainer tells me it's in my best interest to sit 12 games a season, so be it. But that's where I think the management, ownership, the player should sit down and come up with a plan to where it's like, okay, it's an 82-game season. Of course, unforeseen things happen, but 82-game season, we want to keep this player at 70 games.
Yeah.
Because the analytics show that if you go above that, the percentage of injury and this whatever might rise as much, right?
Yeah.
So then, Okay, cool. But then map out a plan and stick to that plan and not just be sitting for the sake of sitting, or like sitting from a gamesmanship standpoint and all that stuff. So it's I see both sides of it, because all our favorite players, all the legends from growing up, for the most part, when you really look at it, their careers were short.
Yeah.
Right? LeBron is in his 20th season. Mm-hmm. Right? Kobe played 20 seasons, and that's factoring in the injury riddled seasons, the lost seasons, right? Yeah. But for the most part, Magic Johnson, part of it was the HIV situation, but only played, I think, maybe 11 seasons.
Yeah.
Right? So imagine if you took half of LeBron's career away. Mm-hmm. Right? Or Larry Bird. Larry Bird, for as great as he was, his career was very short in the big scheme of things, right? Mm-hmm. So, and on the tail end of his career, he laying on the side of the floor because his back's so messed up, right? But he would play 82 games, right? So I think it's the finding a middle ground between sitting on the sideline just for the sake of sitting on the sideline, but then also being smart with your players. But I think you can in-game load manage.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that the teams, the ownership, the management, the players, the league have to figure out a way to still do what's in the player's best interest, what's in your brand's best interest as a league and as a player and as a team, but to also do right by your fans, because they're the reason why they have these contracts.
Exactly.
That's the reason why they're these big television contracts that allow them to have the salaries they have. Mm-hmm. So it's finding a happy medium to me. Like, okay, let's come up with a game plan to where we want to keep this player's minutes under 32 a game.
Yeah.
Right? But not just have them sitting for the sake of sitting. Because, like, some players, I'm like, I think there's very few players that actually are like, I don't want to play today. I think that if to get to that level, you love the game to some extent, and they're competitors and they want to play for the most part. I think a lot of times it is the team telling them, hey, you can't play today. And you can't question somebody else's toughness, right? Or, what I'm saying? Because you don't know how they body you don't know how their body feels.
Yeah. Their body feels. I got you.
Yeah. You don't know how their body feels.
Yeah.
They might, an injury that one player might be able to recover from quicker, this player might not be able to recover from as quick, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm not, this player's soft, that player's soft. I don't really subscribe to that. But I think that if you can play, you should play. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's limited in minutes.
Yeah.
If for no other reason than for the fans.
Yeah, exactly.
But I also don't want players to run themselves into the ground. Mm-hmm. And now instead of seeing 16 seasons of a 16 season career for a certain player that you love, their career's cut short or is injury riddled, or now it's a Grant Hill situation or a Penny Hardaway or a Bo Jackson situation,
possibly a Zion situation.
They would and I don't think that's a load management thing. I think that's a combination of and outside looking in, don't know about I don't have any.
So going back to what we were talking about, even with Ja, like, I feel like today, because of social media and the way that basketball is played, how fast the game is, I feel like a lot of young players are getting drafted and becoming the star of the city. They're becoming the franchise face. And in my opinion, I don't think that's really, it's a great thing for them. Mm-hmm. The publicity, the fame.
The generational wealth that they're able to generate.
The thing that gets me, though, is like, you got somebody who's never played in the league. Mm-hmm. Maybe it does definitely have the skills to be there, but now they're the face of this franchise. So whatever they do is not only magnified. They have the
physical ability, but they're not mentally.
Yeah, but then it's like, place. I feel like if you're going to do that, you have to have, what I would do is, let's say somebody, we'll just use fucking the Heat, for example.
Yeah.
They draft a guard. This dude's like the future of the NBA. You got to have somebody like Haslam in there.
Culture.
You know what I mean? You got to have somebody up in there that you can get to come in and be like, look, I'm not just going to tell you about my generation, but I'm going to coach you on what you need to do, the moves that you should make.
And that's if you listen to all the old players, the older generations of stars, they all had OGs. They all had, old heads. They all had whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
That they had mentorship, right? Mm-hmm. And they stayed in college longer. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of stuff that goes into it.
The maturity, they have more time. So,
right. Because if you come from the league, if you come from being in college, you're 19 years old coming into the league, right? You're going to be in a different space mentally than someone who went away to school for 3 years and is coming in at 21, 22.
Yeah.
Like that's, just stands to reason.
Yeah.
But that's where having a strong infrastructure, it's an investment, right? So the same way you invest in this money, the same way you invest in analytics and all that, you need to invest in having a support system in place also, whether it be having one of your coaches being a little bit younger, right?
Yeah.
Whether it be having a coach that is recently retired, so they still have somewhat of a connection, and they can say, and they have some credibility with that player, right? Because if you, man, you play with my grandpa was, I ain't listening to you old head, you don't even know, right? As opposed to, bro, I was watching you last season.
Yeah.
It's a different credibility. I watched you play. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I feel like I can relate to you a little bit more. But then the player has to be open to it. But I just think that
you got to catch their attention. You got to be somebody that they know.
Somebody that
they know, and then they
as the player, putting the onus on the player, you have to be open to and receptive to listening to someone.
Yeah.
Not I know everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that same thing with gang culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you talk, it's like, man, like there used to be a code. There used to be, you know what I'm saying? Like you would respect your old heads. You would listen to them. Now it's like, they don't listen to nobody.
You didn't talk about shit that happened. Like you wasn't on Instagram. I was watching the doc on YouTube on King Von.
Yeah.
And this dude was a demon, but also every time he drilled, he would tweet about it. And I knew growing up, like this is not, and I'm not trying to get nobody in trouble. I don't know nobody, know nothing. But
allegedly,
when people made moves, you didn't hear about it. If you did, it was because you was
in the.
Usually it was because, hey, just so you know, if some shit happens, like you don't know nothing, but also watch out because we did this run and it may come back and affect this. So
and taking it away from there, just in general, it's a thing of it's okay to listen to someone else.
Yeah.
It's okay to heed someone's advice. It's okay to not have all the answers.
Yeah.
You don't gotta, I know everything, you can't tell me nothing. You can take that stance if you want, but you're doing yourself a disservice. Because some people do got some good game for you. You know what I'm saying? And you might wanna learn from their mistakes.
Yeah.
Or learn from their knowledge, or learn from their wisdom.
Nobody's an island, so you might think, hey, in your mind, like what you're doing, no one's ever done, or people don't understand you.
Right, and ain't nothing new under the sun, right?
Yeah, and even if they don't understand you, like the situation that you're in, it could be easily black and white. Even in the gray areas, like, you know what, let them fill in the blanks, and you could discuss it. But
and you can choose to heed someone's advice or not heed it, but at least being open to receiving it is probably in your best interest.
Yeah,
as long as it's coming from a solid source.
Yeah,
right.
And I feel like with the game today, the game today is in good hands though.
Like definitely. Like I love
the scrappiness. I love seeing cats trying to like really come out here and scratch
I love watching Giannis. I love watching Steph. I love watching Ja. I love watching Paolo Banchero, however you pronounce his name. You know what I'm saying? Like just there's always fresh talent coming in that's incredible. And then just you continue to progress the game. You continue to push it forward.
I had to get used to the new game because I watch games and I'm like, I don't know all these cats.
Because it's so quick.
I went to Atlanta and we watched the Hawks play. Who did they play? We went to watch a Hawks game in Atlanta. And I remember being out there and I was like, I don't know a lot of these players. But also seeing Vince Carter, I was like, Vince Carter played super limited minutes. But I was like, as a kid, seeing Vince Carter play would be crazy.
Right.
And now I'm watching him and it's like, he's about out. A lot of players I grew up watching are no longer in the league.
Even
when like LeBron came in the league, like I still knew a lot of players, but I was like, all right, this is like a new generation of players. But now LeBron is like one of the old heads about to get out of the league.
It's crazy because LeBron is playing against kids that was on Bronny's teams, like playing against them, playing against players who he played against their pops. A lot of them, like not like it's like a rare occurrence, like probably just about every night he playing against somebody kid that he played against they pops. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be I want to say his dad's name, Rick Brunson, but Jalen Brunson. Right? His dad played in the league while LeBron was in the league. Kenya Martin Jr., Kenya Martin Sr.,
which is crazy seeing that. So I was like, man, I remember watching them play with
Kenya Martin with the Nets and Denver, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, but I mean, it just speaks to the prolonged.
So we're gonna go into music.
Let's go.
We talked about sports sneakers. We got to go into music. I want to talk about what have you been listening to lately? Anything new?
It's funny because I listen to new stuff, but a lot of times I find myself listening to the same stuff.
The same
I
one.
don't listen to the radio at all. So it's like I got my little niche that I listen to. A lot of Locks, Jadakiss, Nas, Jay, like Wu-Tang, just from that
fuels
era,
your mental, you know what I mean?
Right? Because a lot of times when I listen to music, it's when I'm working out, but I listen to a lot of new stuff too, whether it be from the artists that are still relevant, that that are still putting out music. Because I mean, Nas's projects with Hit Boy are crazy.
You know what? That collab, and the Hit Boy just dropped one with
Alchemist
and Music.
Yeah. And
I was like, that was out of I haven't heard it yet, but that was out of left field.
It's funny because Hit Boy, my probably one of my favorite cousins, Jelani.
Yeah.
They grew up together, like they best friends. So I remember meeting him like years back.
Yeah.
Like years back. I remember my cousin would play me his beat CDs and stuff, like, yo, this is my homie, da. And then I was like, so I watched the progression. So it's like I'm like a huge Hit Boy, you know what I'm saying, is one of the dopest producers, period. But it was cool because like I kind of seen the come up, like, like I seen it the whole way through up to this point. But I mean, he's super talented, and I love his versatility, and I love the chemistry that him and Nas have together.
Yeah.
And it's dope because I feel like it bridges the gap between, for Hit Boy, he's working with a legend that he grew up on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And even going back to him being underneath Kanye. So, I mean, I know that's just crazy. Like, all of that is crazy for him. Because I be seeing my cousin, he be with him all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, he be in pictures with Nas and pictures with...
And that is
legends,
crazy.
and I'm like, yo, that's my nigga. Like, I see you. You know what I'm saying? Like, be because this is my cousin. You know what I'm saying? Like, my probably, like I said, like one of my tightest cousins, closest cousins.
That low-key connects you to that person, though.
Right? And I met him a couple times. I don't know him like that, but I met him a couple times. He's always been cool with the times I met him. Yeah. But that's my cousin's.
But I'm like, you connected to Nas though, like low-key.
Oh,
like,
like I'm like,
if you think about
like,
it,
he be like at the, you know what I'm saying? He posts on his Instagram everything. And I'd be like, yo, my nigga
Nas is possibly a 3-way call away, to be honest.
No, for real. Like I'll be looking at my cousin's Instagram all proud because he's a few years younger than me.
Yeah.
But that was always like one of my favorite cousins because we had similar interests and things that, you know what I'm saying? Like, he does photography. He's like a Renaissance man. Once again, shout out Jelani.
Yeah.
He's like a Renaissance man. He was always into like photography at young and like fashion. He was always hella fly. He was into sneakers. Like, that was like why. And I was like his older cousin, you know what I'm saying, by a few years. So we was always super tight. And it's just dope seeing him like living out his dreams, you know what I'm saying? Because he ain't just like tagging along, you know what I'm saying? Like, he like does stuff.
Really out there with it,
Yeah, like he does photography. He's done videos and, like music videos.
Yeah.
But it's dope. And I'll be like, he being pictures, posting pictures with him and Nas toasting up and shit, and Dom Kennedy and music and everybody. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Like,
those people that you sit and you listen to, you see on TV, and it's like, damn, like that's a real. To me, it's like that's a real person.
Yeah.
Like, it takes them off that pedestal. It's like, damn, they like real like me. But it's
yeah. But nah, like the King's Disease trilogy, the Magic album, all the stuff with Nas and Hit Boy is super
and
crazy
Nas
to
has
me.
not lost a bit.
But that's the thing is when you stay active, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can just continue to improve. And I love, because this is the first generation of hip hop that's matured and grown up in front of us.
Yeah.
Right? Because hip hop is, as an art form, is a young art form anyway. Hip hop ain't but like 50 years old.
Yeah.
Right?
It's crazy.
So this is the first generation where our legends are aging gracefully, and we're able to see them, and they still sharp. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jadakiss is still sharp. You know what I'm saying? Like,
still dangerous.
Nas is still sharp. You know what I'm saying? Jay, when he decided to get in the booth, is still sharp.
Yeah.
And the dudes that was the young dudes is now old heads.
Yeah.
Is what's crazy, which is why I don't understand why in hip hop, ageism is like, oh, you old. Yeah. It's like, nigga, if you keep living, you get old. That's how it works.
You know what's crazy? We think about it.
Because Wayne, real quick, not to step on you, because Wayne was the young head. Now it's like he's the elder statesman.
I was going to bring up Soulja Boy. If you think about Soulja Boy,
is an like elder statesman. He's an old head,
which is crazy.
And he look old. Because I'm sorry, but I be seeing him like, man,
it's the drugs.
Look
man.
that, yeah.
Soulja Boy though,
shoot, like how Nas damn near 50 and he look younger than you, fool. You doing something wrong, homie.
Nas is a gem though. Like I would say,
man.
Say what you want, but him and JJ is kind of out the game. He kind of stepping.
Yeah, see, Jay is in a space to where,
active.
He's very active, and he stays sharp. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I think that being around that young energy and being open to it instead of being dismissive of it, like a lot of, all these new artists. Like you know what I'm saying? Being open to the new, you know what I'm saying, the new crops that come up and staying tapped in allows him.
He loves hip hop.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So I love like when I see, you know what I'm saying, Nas, or when I see Jay, or when I see Jadakiss, or, you know what I'm saying, like the vets that are still active.
Yeah.
Like even with the I don't know if you've heard it, but there's this Cam, Mace, and Jadakiss have like this little pseudo group.
Word.
Yeah. And they've been like touring together and stuff. But they have like this little pseudo group, and they got a single that had came out, and it was funny. I was talking to this with my brother. Mm-hmm. It's funny when you listen to it because all three of them, like, their verses are cool, but you could tell who's been as active, who's been as tapped in, and who hasn't with their verses, right? Because Cam's verse is cool. He actually kind of, he go off a little bit, but you could tell he kind of just dibbled and dabbled in the booth, right? Jadakiss's verse is nuts, and he sounds perfect. And you could tell, Jadakiss, he's been in the booth consistently this entire time. And then Mace, his verse is cool, but it sounds like you gotta shake a little bit of rust off, homie. Like, you know what I'm saying, especially on a track with Jada, you know what I'm saying, like, because this verse is cool, but and it's dope because it's like, it's Mace, right? So it's like,
I feel like Jadakiss is one of those rappers like Wayne, like Hove, to where I feel like you got to get on the track after they get on the track.
Yeah, but
if you do the track, give it to them, you got to redo your shit after.
Yeah, that part. But no, it's funny because like Jada verse, just, you know what I'm saying, workman-like, just, Jada verse, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You'd expect nothing less. Yeah. Cam, his verse is cool, you know what I'm saying? It's Cam. And then Mace comes in, so there's the nostalgia, like you just hype because Mace back component of it. But then there's like, and he spit, but it do sound a little bit jaded. I mean, it's not jaded, dated. You know what I'm saying? He comes in, well, you messing with a guru in Honolulu with your boo boo, and it's like his verse is okay. His verse is okay, but it's like, you gonna have to get back in the lab and shake off a little bit of rust.
Your vocab up a little bit.
You know what I'm saying? Because Kiss was in there just spitting fire, you know what I'm saying? And Cam, you know what I'm saying? He came in and he did the Cam thing. Yeah. And then Mace come in, and it's a cool verse, but you can definitely tell he ain't been as active and consistent as they have.
He's on his old bag a little bit.
Yeah, now you dealing with a guru, Honolulu with your boo boo. It's called Hyena Gorilla or something like that.
Put in an EP,
I'm gonna send it to you.
Like a couple
so I think I know there's one actual single, and I know that they were doing a tour, like the Beasts of the East kind of tour together. But that's the only song I think they released. But just like how Fabulous, Jim Jones, and Mano do a lot of stuff together too. So it's kind of like the old head New York, you know what I'm saying, little crews doing linking up and getting money, which is cool, especially if you know the history between Cam and Mace, how they fell out and been back and forth, and now they back right. And watch, even with their podcast and with their show and stuff, like it's actually hella funny the parts I've seen. Yeah. And it's dope seeing them, you know what I'm saying.
But it's dope having the older voices back in hip hop, because that's what you need. You know what I mean?
And it's just dope watching. This is really the first generation of MCs that you've watched still sharp into their 40s, and it's you know what I'm saying, because prior to that, the only ones that were halfway still active and relevant, Cube kind of stayed relevant, you know what I'm saying, for a pretty long period. LL to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because LL and like Jay-Z and all them are about the same age.
Yeah.
Like that's what's crazy because LL seems like he came so far before, but he just came out so young. But like LL, he had a pretty extended run and kind of, but ain't nobody really at this point checking for like a LL verse, or ain't nobody really checking for a Chuck D verse or checking for a KRS-One verse. And that's not a, you know what I'm saying?
Not a shot, but I mean,
not a
it's
shot,
like,
but
it's not
that's the
something-
reality.
Yeah.
Whereas now you're seeing the elder statesmen are still relevant and are still hard and are still, look, the younger generation got to step it. They can't come in there half stepping because you're gonna get flamed
Exactly.
on your own track by the
People
old
swear
heads.
Wayne is the only one doing it. I'm like, nah, there's a lot of cats really who.
Well, all these dudes is old, which is once again funny how in hip hop I was like, oh, you old. And it's like all the dudes that was talking about people was old is old. Game, you however old is still rhyming. And it's like, nigga, you the same age as you was talking about.
You still rapping.
It's like, nigga, you
Ain't you
40.
like 40 right
Yeah. Like,
now? You still trying to beef with rappers out
yeah,
here.
you know what I'm saying? Like Jim Jones when he was, Jay-Z's old. It's like, nigga, you like 5 years younger. What are you
But
talking
it's
about?
like, how many new age artists are really going to be able to carry the torch for too long?
No, so that's where
That's where gatekeeping I think is important though in hip hop.
Right. Well, but that's where revisiting what we talked about last time we recorded, where being genuinely passionate about your art as opposed to it just being a hustle come into play.
Yeah.
I'm not Skrill-Stradamus, but J. Cole gonna be nice. J. Cole's in his late 30s.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I'm thinking. Kendrick's in his 30s. Drake's in his 30s. The dudes that was the young dudes when they came out are the old heads to a lesser extent. Like, you know what I'm saying? Currency.
Currency's been so
And,
he
oh,
got
man, Currency is so
careers.
dope.
I don't know how he flies under the radar. He just so smooth with
Well,
every
you know what it
release
is?
just like-
But that, it's almost like, what kind of career? Siri said, okay, now playing Currency. But that's where it's kind of like, okay, what kind of career would you rather have? Would you rather have a career where you never sell gold or platinum really, but you make incredible music for 20 something years, 30 something years, right? Or would you rather have a career where it's like you have this ascent and you a superstar and then poof, is gone.
fizzles out, yeah.
Right? So would you rather have you're on top of the world for a few years and then it's a wrap, or would you rather have, I never reached that level of notoriety, but I've always made incredible, and I have a devoted fan base that is gonna rock with what I do, you know what I'm saying, forever. You know, like that's Currency's career is so dope to me because I remember when Currency came out under Wayne and all them, and I mean he was out. You know, his
Currency
backstory,
Hospital way back
right?
then,
You know what I'm saying? Where the cash at? Where the cash at? But I mean, and I think he was signed to No Limit at one point before that when he was like a kid.
Way back when?
Yeah, if I remember correctly. But when he first came on the scene, and he was like supposed to be one of the next up dudes, and it didn't pan out as far as like superstardom, mainstream. But he's always consistently been dope, and he's always consistently put out music, and his music is fucking fire. You know what I'm saying? Like. And then it's dope because it's like it's almost like these cliques of artists that are all dope and that are from the same era but like from different regions.
Yeah.
And they work with this like same producer and they put together like this dude named Jay Worthy. He's from LA, from Compton.
Yeah.
But he signed to Griselda.
Yeah.
Right, so he'd be like with Westside Gunn and all them, but then he do music with Larry June all the time. Like they got a project, Two Peas in a Pod.
Jay Worthy, I gotta look this up.
Yeah, you'll like him. You'll like him. He make
Most of
dope
my places
music.
is R&B. I listen to a lot of hip hop, but it's mostly R&B.
But you'll like him. And the thing is, it's all kind of in a similar vein.
Yeah.
But then it's like offshoots of the same similar vein, and like they make like Currency and Jay Worthy got a project together.
Okay.
Right. So it's like the Currencies, the Larry Junes, the Dom Kennedys, and then it's dope seeing them link with a producer like The Alchemist, which we were talking about prior to when you started recording. So it's like that exposes Alchemist to a new generation that don't just like, oh, who's this new
That
who's
don't
this
know
new
who
white guy,
Alchemist is.
Alchemist producer guy. It's like, bro, Alchemist, number one, Alchemist, a white boy from Beverly Hills that was in a rap group with Scott Kahn. I'm encyclopedic with it, but no, I think they're called the Hooligans, but he's been in hip hop. You know what I'm
A
saying?
lot of
Like,
people think he probably just came out to work with
right,
Larry June
they think-
or with Action Bronson.
right,
Like,
exactly.
no.
And it's like, no, this dude was underneath Cypress Hill. Like he's Cypress Hill's little homie.
Yeah.
right? And then he rose up the producer ranks and was producing like for Mobb Deep. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the Mobb Deep stuff is him.
Yeah.
So like people think now they hear him with Larry June. It's like, oh, but it's like, nah, Alchemist been a legend. Alchemist doing Larry June a favor recording with him. If you want to keep it a buck,
for Larry
homie.
June. Like if you really listen to it, like that's if you're a Larry June fan, you should be hyped that Alchemist.
And then it's dope because now you hear him on those sound beds.
Yeah.
So it's cool seeing that crossover and connection because it's mutually beneficial for these artists. Hit Boy to Nas, that's mutually beneficial, right? Yeah. Or Larry June with an Alchemist, like that's mutually beneficial because for Larry June, a dude that might be like yo, I'm an underground hip hop head, but I fuck with Alchemist. Now that opens him up to listening to Larry June. It's like, yo, okay, this kind of goes. Then somebody that's, you know, saying younger is like, yo, Larry June is everything. You know, good job, Larry.
It moves the culture forward.
Now they're tapping into like, okay, let me see what this Alchemist dude talking about, and they go back and revisit that discography,
catalog, and you gonna see what's in there. You know what I mean?
And Still Sharp and Steel, haha, pun intended. So now it's like they make each other sharper, right? Yeah. Hit Boy, he always rapped, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But listening to his newer stuff, his bars are you hear the growth in his lyricism and his bars. Yeah. But yeah, because you were around Nas all the time. Yeah. You feel me? And then for Nas, like you hear like he stay fresh and he stay new because he around somebody that's a little bit younger. That's kind of, but then that has history, you know what I'm saying, that knows the history of hip hop, right? Yeah. So it's like you get the best of both worlds and you kind of sharpen each other and bring the best out of each other. So
like I said, it moves the culture forward though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because when you have these collabs, you start to really listen to, like you said, the older artists. It's like, damn, well, I heard this song and there's another song that got sampled by that. Yeah. What else? And then it gets into like the sample thing where you're like, who made this original song? Because
like, okay, so the dude Jay Worthy I was talking about. So he kind of more like if you was to go on Apple Music and look at like similar artists, right? Yeah. Or you know what I'm saying? It would be people like G Perico and like the kind of West Coast gangster dudes. Yeah. But then, like I said, he on Griselda. Yeah. Right? So then he'll be on a you know, saying West Side Gun beat. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? A West Side Gun song. But then he'll turn around and be on some like hella West Coast type stuff. But then he'll be on some stuff with Larry June. It's like more kind of Bay Area sounding. Yeah. Then he'll be on. So it's like, and so if you somebody that's like, hey, blood, like I only listen to, you know what I'm saying? Then you might you might be familiar with Jay Worthy, but then you hear him on this and it's like, oh shit, this shit is kind of hard too.
Bro, we gotta do a whole,
expand your palette.
A whole hip hop, just music pod in general. Like I need to do a whole episode. Like, I'm telling you, topics we got is just
because as much as I listen to a lot of the same stuff, like there's certain albums like I just run over and over again. That's timeless to me. I do listen to a lot of the newer stuff, but it's stuff that kind of is in that vein of it's new, but then it still has you could tell that they know their history and they like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was listening to Mr. Fab. He had an interview the other day where he was saying Too Short's the most underrated, unheralded hip hop artist of all time. Okay. Right. So on the surface saying, you know, Too Short's the most underrated, you know what I'm saying, disrespected hip hop legend of all time. It's like, what you talking about? Yeah. But then when he broke it down, it was like, dang, he's spitting bars though. Cause he said, he's like, look, man, Too Short has literally been a hip hop legend in the Bay since 82. Yeah. It's like, bro, a lot, you know what I'm saying? You weren't born yet. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like I was like 2, you know what I'm saying? 1982, and it's like, yeah, Short been out that long. Same thing with like an E40, like they've been in the game for that long. But then, and he was saying, so Short, his own music, he a legend. Short put on Little John. Short put on. He started breaking down people that Short put in the game. He's like, yo, Short had his biggest hit single when he was 46, or however. I know I might be misstating the age, with like, you know, Blow the Whistle. Yeah. Blow the Whistle, right? So it's like, and he was saying other people that Short had signed that went on to being prominent, and he was just like breaking it down. And I was like, damn, he got a point. Like, you know what I'm saying? Short doesn't get his flowers the way that he gets. Like, real quick, short, I don't want to step on it. Yeah. But he was like, yo, Short the only one that got a song with every legend, nigga. He was like, he got songs with Big. He got songs with Pac. He got songs with
I didn't think about that.
UGK.
Yeah.
He got songs with Jay.
Yeah.
He got songs with Nas. He broke down all the legends, and it was like, damn, he really do got songs with all of them, right? Because he got songs with Big. The world is filled with pencil, right? He got songs with Jay.
Yeah.
A gang, you know what I'm saying? It was all good just a week. Like he got songs with everybody. Like, and I was like, damn, that's true too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just like, man, I like that. But it's dope that you have people that'll give people they flowers.
Yeah.
Like the OGs, they flowers. Because, I mean, to me, that was like, dang, that's real talk.
That's one reason I like Drink Champs, though.
Yeah.
I I'm a hip-hop. I love hip-hop, but there's a lot of things I didn't know until you have someone like Nori who was there who can really speak to it. And it's like, damn, if I didn't watch this podcast, I would not have known.
Yeah.
No, I know the hits. I know your hit songs, but like the background stuff is like something we lose.
Yeah. And it's just like, especially once again, things that you're passionate about, it's dope when you have people that can give you that added layer of insight on it.
So
you know
we're
what I'm
losing
saying?
the recipes.
Yeah.
I always say, oh, I was like, yo, we losing the recipes out here.
No, not like, right? Like going back to why it's important to respect your elders, right? Because if you ain't open to hearing what somebody that came before you has to say, you missing out on so much that
You are.
that would edify you so much, man. So
The Bay Area sound is so influential in so many different ways. People it gets stepped on.
and that's
It
what's
gets
so beautiful about hip hop, man. Like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, and every region got their own legends that, you know what I'm saying? Like if somebody's from Memphis, like they're gonna have different legends.
Yeah.
Right? But they're legends still, right? So if you into hip hop and you really have an open mind and an open palate, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, yeah, you got 8 Ball and MJG, and then you got that beget somebody like Dolph, that
Like
beget
when Gangsta
somebody,
Boo passed, and everyone was like, "Who is that?"
Who is that? And it's like, yo, you know who 3 6 Mafia is?
Are you
Right.
for real? Like, you know what I mean?
Even if you didn't particularly care for their music, like you need to know the impact they had, because guess what? They beget, you know, Juicy J is part of Hypnotized Mind, you know what I'm saying, 3 6 Mafia, which, you know what I'm saying, goes into a lot of the Wiz Khalifa stuff, which goes into, you know what I'm saying? So it's like and then it just like follow the lineage. Even like a T.I., if you like follow the lineage, just like, man, you know what I'm saying, beyond like the Young Dros and artists like that. But he was one of the first ones that was up on Meek Mill. I think and I might be misspeaking, but he had Meek Mill signed and he let Meek Mill go to Ross because he was like, well, that's a better position for him. But he was the first one to sign Meek. Same thing with B.O.B. T.I.'s responsible for B.O.B.
His last album was not bad, by the way.
I haven't heard it, but I mean, I might have to check it out.
Shit, but it wasn't bad.
No, I might have to check it out. But you know what I'm saying? Like he put on B.O.B. He Travis Scott. He had Travis Scott first. Pause. So like, there's got to give Wayne his flowers. Wayne, if you look at his tree, you know what I'm saying, his lineage, if you want to call it, you know what I'm saying, you got not only Drake and Nicki, of course, but then you got, you know what I'm saying, the lesser artists like lesser known artists, Tyga. I ain't gonna say Little Twist.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
no, you know, I understand what you're saying, but I'm talking about like if you watch how far those branches start spreading out, it's like, okay, you know what I'm saying, Wayne, if you goes into the Drake, you know what I'm saying, tree, which branches off into artists like
The
Weeknd and all that, right? So indirectly, that come from Wayne, right? And then you look at Nicki, and then you look at Tyga, and then you look at, you know what I'm saying, different artists that it branches out. And it's like, man, like he had a good ear, and he had a big impact on the game.
It makes sense. So you see him whenever you go to games or wherever he had the headphones on, it was like, this motherfucker take them goofy. But then it's like, he was always tapped in.
Or you know what I'm saying, Jay-Z, whether it be like it was, you know, hands-on or whether it be as an executive or whatever, but how many careers has he had a hand in, whether it be, you know, and then you go down the lineage again, right? So Kanye's an offshoot of that. Rihanna's an offshoot of that. Freeway and Beans and State Property and like that Philly, you know what I'm saying, offshoot of it. Then you got the Kanye offshoot of it. Then you got all the artists that Kanye brought into the game. So that's still an offshoot of coming back to Hove, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
which again, people don't take into account. You know what I mean? It's like there's so many different factors.
And then so bring it full circle. So then you go with Kanye. Hit Boy came from up underneath him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like and now Hit Boy has, you know what I'm saying, is spreading out his branches. So it's dope. Like if you really, I mean, if you really passionate about it,
Yeah.
you really, it's like, man, this is sick. You know, I'm sitting
Like,
talking about
the
this for
BET
hours.
Hip Hop Awards, man. I'm like, that's one award shows where I'm like, that could be like a 3-4 hour show every time.
Oh man, and when they did
And
the tribute,
still.
that was hard. There was a couple things that came out of it that I was kind of like, man, I hate to see it, but like
Yeah.
with the Willie D and with the Willie D and Scarface thing, I guess Willie D felt the way that Scarface was out there performing the Ghetto Boy songs and Willie D wasn't there, wasn't invited there or whatever. And they hashed it out. It seemed like.
But I mean, it's like really like you only gonna have
so
time
many
for like one
people,
verse,
right?
And
But I could also see Willie D from where it's like, okay, you performing Ghetto Boy songs as if I'm not part of Ghetto Boys.
Yeah.
So I
But it's
understand.
also like when you with an award show, it's like you want Willie D or Scarface.
Scarface, right?
Yeah,
And Scarface has, and then Scarface has his own Scarface stuff and his Ghetto Boy stuff. So
yeah,
I understood it, but it was just funny. Like not funny, but it was like
you understand the blowback though. Like
I understood the blowback, but then it was also cool because like they sat and they was talking about it like on a it was like a podcast basically.
Yeah.
But it was dope seeing like how they hashed it out and you could tell that there was feelings there like. Yeah. But that it was still like, yo, but I love this dude. You know
that was controversial. People were
out.
like, y'all miss a lot of people in this performance.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no way not to, right? If I ask you for your top 10 greatest MCs of all time, there's gonna be a lot of MCs that you leave out that are incredible.
Yeah.
If I ask you your top 10 basketball players of all time, there's gonna be a lot of incredible basketball players that you have to. There's only if it's 10, there's only 10. There's gonna be a lot of people.
It's hard to give a list like that because for me, it's like the mood I'm in and where I'm at that point.
Yeah.
Because if you ask my top 10 rappers ever right now, I'm gonna give you a list. Ask me in 2 weeks after I've been listening to more hip hop. Oh, you know what?
Like one of my clients always clowns me because I'll be like, yo, that's like one of my favorite MCs. And she's like, how many favorite MCs do you have? And I was like, a lot. Because I'll be like, yo, Push, that's my guy. That's one of my favorite MCs. Then I'll be like, yo, and I'll say, yeah, Ras Kass, that's like one of my all-time favorite MCs. And I'll say, oh man, The Licks is one of my all-time favorite groups. And I'll say, oh, The Locks is one of my all-time favorite groups. And I'll say, oh, Wu-Tang's one of my all-time. She's like, how many favorites do you? And I'm like, look, I got a lot.
There's a lot.
There's a lot. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, Hov, you know what I'm saying? Hov, that's like my favorite.
Yeah.
But Big's my favorite too. But Nas is my favorite too. But you know what I'm saying? And just keep going. But Nipsey's one of my favorites too. But you know, it just keeps going and going.
For me, I feel like I got Hov and Wayne up there. But then there's also times where like I'll hear a Nas verse, or I'll go back and I'll listen to a Pac verse. I'm like, damn, okay, well,
and it goes back to when you first heard them artists, also, right? Like for me, Nas and Jay, and I mean, you know, Pac and Big are gone, so Nas and Jay will always like just be at the top for me because I remember hearing Live at the Barbecue, like Nas's very first, you know what I'm saying? I remember, you know what I'm saying, It Ain't Hard to Tell video. I remember like, you know what I'm saying, I remember all that when it first, I remember, you know what I'm saying, Reasonable Doubt. And I went like when it actually released, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I knew who Jay was before that because he had a song with this group called Original Flavor. It's like, can I get open? You know it. But it was like,
was that the one Yo MTV Raps?
It used to, it might have been. Yeah, it used to be on. It used to be on like Rap City and all that. Yeah. And I mean, he was in the Hawaiian Sofa video. You know what I'm saying? I remember him for that. But I remember like the first time I heard him rap was on that. It was Original Flavor song. Original Flavor. One of the members actually is the producer Ski Beats, who did the beat for Breakfast. I think Breakfast. One of them songs off of Currency's Pilot Talk album. But he's like a big like a really dope hip hop producer. Yeah. But he was one of the artists in that group. Anyway, the song is called Can I Get Open? And it was Original Flavor featuring Jay-Z. Yeah. And Jay-Z came and he's like, well, Carl, can I? It's never the verse in the how, but when I rip it, can I? But like his verse was ill. It's like it sounds dated, right? Because it was like that ickety bickety, you know what I'm saying, kind of flow. Fast, but he was spitting though, it was that flow which is dated, but he was so much better than everybody else at that flow. And I was like, yo, who is this? And then he was flying the video. He had like a little car can I fit? And he was like, can I get open? You know, it was hard. So I already knew. And then I heard like, you know, In My Lifetime. And then Reasonable Doubt came out. And then he was with Big. So I knew him from being with Big. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like on I Love the Dough. And then Brooklyn's Finest off of Reasonable Doubt. So it's like, this is stuff when I was 13, 14 years old. So now I'm 43, about to turn 44. So this is 30 years of me rocking with these artists. Yeah. So yeah, Nas holds a certain place in the pantheon for me. You can't tell me shit about Nas, right? Because nigga, I was in middle school when I was in elementary school. Like I was in 6th grade, 7th grade.
And that's what you know as hip hop.
When I first heard Nas.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm in 9th grade, 8th, you know what I'm saying? When I first, like even I was the other day, I was playing 93 Till Infinity for somebody, and I was like, this is literally, if I had to pick one all-time favorite hip-hop song, this might be it. Like, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
Like, this legit might be my all-time favorite hip-hop song. Like, this is just a perfect record to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just rapping it word from, you know what I'm saying? Down to 7 digits, call up Bridget, that man's a midget, plus I got French. So I was like, man, but it's because I was, you know what I'm saying, in my early teens, you know what I'm saying? I might not even been there when like these songs first came out.
Yeah.
Or when I first was introduced to these artists. So it's like you watch their progression, just like why Kobe, you know what I'm saying, meant so much to me, right? Kobe was a year older than me. So it's like I literally felt like I grew up
watching him play
into a man. It's like, parallel to him.
And watch the accolades
and all of these and all of these benchmarks and accomplishments that happen is like they correlate to stuff that was going on in my life. So it's just like there's that, like if I hear Blueprint, Jay-Z's Blueprint, it takes me right back to it's like, man, okay, Jordan's like a baby, I just graduated college, then it's like it takes me that time, boom, like off top, like I will always love that album, you know what I'm saying, like Take Over, all those songs. So that's something that's dope about music also, is how it'll just take you to a certain period of time.
I still listen back to Take Over and I'm like, this motherfucker really went in on the
well, shoot, where he went in was on Super Ugly.
Yeah.
And
I was like, I grew up and it was like mixtapes where they got each other, but this dude on the album was going, and it was like,
bro, I was like it's funny because even the Jay and Nas beef.
Well, we'll get the recording, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, even the Jay and Nas beef is like people surface level, you just know it from the Takeover, and Ether is what started it. But if you was tapped in, I remember, saying little mixtape tracks where Nas was taking shots, bop, or where Jay was taking shots, bop. Yeah. Like people don't know, like, Nas was like, it was on a freestyle, but he was like, is it H to the Izzo, M to the Izzo, the rapping version of Cisco, like coming at Jay, right? And most people had never heard that because it was like a mixtape song. Yeah. But he was like, I eat through beans fast, and like he was like just like coming at like all the Rockefeller artists, right? Nobody heard that. This is before Takeover and Ether. Yeah. Or then you got Jay. Is that your chick? His whole verse, he's taking shots at Nas. Don't be mad at me. I'll replace him with another one. You mad at me? She keep calling me big, and my name is Jay-Z. She was all on my dick.
In the car too.
Talking about his baby mom
in the driver's seat when he recorded the video.
So yeah, I know why there was beef. Like that's the reason why there was beef.
Me and Lonnie talked about. I was like, he recorded that shit in the whip. And gave you a play-by-play of what happened. I was like,
but that's why Super Ugly is so funny to me. I don't care. Hot take. No, Nas didn't win that beef. Jay won the beef. I don't care. Super Ugly is bananas. He's talking so reckless and crazy. I'm not even going to the lyrics of it, but go on YouTube and listen to Super Ugly and listen to the disrespectful, honest, true stuff that Jay is saying. Nas on Ether is an incredible record, one of the illest diss records ever. But a lot of what Nas is saying on Ether is like, nah, you're ugly, I'm handsome, nah, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like in 88, you was getting chased through your building, calling my jack, and I ain't even give you the number. Like, okay, cool, those are good bars. Yeah. But the stuff that Jay is saying is like, yo, I be piping down your baby mom. Remember when this happened? Remember when, you know what I'm saying? You calling her phone, you know what I'm saying? Thought I was boning Renette. You calling Karma 100 times. I was boning her neck. Like, what? Like, he's like, yo, you thought I was fucking with her homegirl. You blowing her phone up, and she's giving me fellatio. Like, ooh, I don't care who you are. That has to hurt. Yeah. But that's why it's so dope now, seeing Nas and Jay good. Yeah. That's dope. Like on Nas's album, his new album, he say, sometimes I hit Hova like, nigga, it ain't over, laughing. Like,
that was on the last
and he says, in the Range Rover, listening to Takeover. Sometimes I text Hova like, nigga, this ain't over, laughing. Like, I love that there's like, but then there's still that little competitiveness to it. Yeah. But it's like, man, we grown men.
I feel like Nas is keeping Jay in the game though, low key.
Yeah, no, that's the thing is your contemporaries. Like it's one of
things where like I gotta
your contemporaries is like you always. Even if you're not active or you're not really checking for it, you checking for what they doing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
neither one of them cats wants them to get the one up.
Right. Which is, and as long as it stay on just a cool, you know what I'm saying, competitive level, where it ain't on no, you know what I'm saying, disrespectful, go outside the booth type level, that's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guarantee you, Jay hears everything that everybody say. So when he come out and he don't get in the booth and release stuff that often, but when he do, he just reminds you, I'm him.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted. I'm him still. Right? Or his verse on Neck and Wrist off the Pusha T, or on Drug Dealers Anonymous on the Pusha T, or on God Did. But he go on God Did. That was a masterclass on
Let me tell you. So I heard Wayne's verse. Like, Wayne was cool.
But here's what's crazy. Yeah. So this is a song with Rick Ross, who's one of the, one of the greats, right? Like him, dislike him, he's one of the greats.
Yeah.
Wayne, who I don't care who you are, you got to give him his flowers. He's one of the greats.
Yeah.
And Jay gets on there and just puts them to shame.
But I came on, I was like, all right, well, Hope's coming up next. I'm waiting for it. And it just kept going.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this song is long, so it's going to be like at the
I was
end, like
joking
a bunch
with
of vocals.
somebody. I was like, if I was Wayne and Ross, I would have been like, just take my verse off.
I'm saying.
Just let him have the song, because Wayne's verse is hard. Yep. It's a great verse. It's one of his better verses. Mm-hmm. When you actually listen to his verse on there. But it's like,
said less and God did the rest. I was like, oh my God.
But he was like, I'm the apex, face tats, blah, blah. Like, all the stuff he was saying is like, damn, he talking his talk.
Yes.
But then Hove just comes in and shuts that down for like 5 minutes straight.
I heard, so before Hove's even came on, I played Wayne's verse back.
And his verse is incredible.
I got chills.
Yeah, his verse is incredible.
I was like, that shit was crazy. Then Hove came on. I was like,
yeah, that verse wasn't nothing.
I was like, hold on a minute. To the point, as soon as it ended, I was like, Lonnie, and I sent her the song.
Yo,
like, Lonnie,
it's like,
play this. She's like, I know, I just heard it. We was going back and forth. I was like, that shit was.
Oh man, it's like that joke. I think it was Cat Williams that said about when you see a Charger, or not a Charger, but
Rolls Royce pull up next to
until a Bentley,
Chrysler 300.
Yeah, 300. A 300 be hard until a Bentley come up and it's like, oh, no,
I didn't want to be in this motherfucker no more.
Yeah, that was Wayne's verse. Next to Jay's on there, bro. Like,
before I even heard, I saw the names. I was like, this is gonna be crazy.
Yes.
That Hove was just going. And I was like, this shit is over. No, it's not.
And it's so dope. Like, once again, like, this is a 50-year-old man.
That, to be honest, in most people's lives, hip hop would have been so beneath them at this point.
Yeah.
They would have loved hip hop for what it was, but they would have. But
that's when you know somebody truly love what they do, right? Like, going back to revisiting what I said.
Yeah.
I think an artist like a J. Cole, a Kendrick, man, they gonna be 55 and still nice, and still, you know what I'm saying, if they feel inclined to, able to get in the booth with anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's because they really love it, and they, you know what I'm saying. That's why Jadakiss is still so nice. You know what I'm saying? That's why Fab to me is still so nice. Because Fab has been active.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying, he puts out a lot of music. He's like how Currency is like, it might not be
Billboard or nothing.
Right, but it might not chart. Yeah. And that's not the aim. It's like, you know what I'm saying, I just love what I do and be putting out good music. Mm-hmm. He just dropped a single the other day. It's called LOL or something. Mm-hmm. But I was just listening to the verse and I was like, man, this nigga spits. Like, yo, Fab is ill. It is crazy because I remember when Fab first came out, and he was like the young dude, and now it's like these are the old heads. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dipset was like the young guns, and now it's like, nah, them the old heads. Yep. Like, it's funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, talking about somebody else is old, and now it's like, nah, nigga, you old.
I'm saying y'all the same bracket
now. y'all the same age.
That's why I love hip hop, man. It's just like, it's not like these other, like pop or some shit to where you hot at the moment and that's it.
Yeah.
But it's like you
well, I love that it's maturing into that because that it wasn't always like that, right? Like, ain't nobody trying to hear an Ice-T verse.
No.
Ain't nobody trying to, you know what I'm saying? And that's not trying to be funny because, I mean, Ice-T's number one. He's an icon, a legend. You know what I'm saying? If you talking about West Coast gangster rap, he on the Mount Rushmore.
Oh, yeah.
Period. You know what I'm saying? 6 a.m, police at my door, right? Like, that's literally probably
like when
the
I heard
first
MCA
gangster rap song.
Good Kid, Mad City, I was like, what the fuck?
But that's what's dope. But that's
I thought it was just going to be like a little interlude.
But that's what's dope because Kendrick loves hip hop and is a student of the game. Yeah. So he know his history. He know his lineage. That's why even if you surpass your idols, you still big them up and you still make sure that you put people onto who inspired you, right? Yeah. So when he came out with the Control verse and everybody's like, oh, he went crazy, he went nuts. On that verse, he's shouting out Corrupt. Yeah. Shout out my big homie Corrupt, right? Because he's like, yo, was who I was trying to be like, right? Mm-hmm. Or when you know what I'm saying, when Cole, you know what I'm saying, he makes sure that he, you know what I'm saying, he big up. or even to a lesser extent with Drake, with what he been doing, like as far as like doing the thing at the Apollo and making sure Dipset got their flowers, which springboards into Jim Jones right now talking crazy.
But you knew that was because
but it's like, bro,
that Drake nudge in the back.
Yeah, it's like, bro, okay, I know that you cool with Drake, but you going overboard with all this Drake standing and
Pusha T is in the top. Pusha T, in my opinion, is in the top 25 all time.
Well, I mean, okay, so it's
I can't
all
give you a 25 off
subjective.
top,
Well, no, it's all subjective, and like I said, I mean, whenever you put a number on something, you're gonna leave out incredible people. So when they do these lists, I don't get all bent out of shape. And it's like, what is your criteria? You know what I'm saying? It's like, what's your criteria? Is it influence? Is it just rhyming? Is it on
sales?
Because if it's just rhyming, then a lot of people that we hold in a high esteem aren't on the list.
Yeah.
If you're just talking about like the ability to rhyme words and MCing, or is it impact that they had? Right. Is it the impact you had on the culture? Is it a combination of all of it? So I don't really trip off of that. It's more, I just look at it like, okay, you can say who you think is the best, but to be honest, you might as well just say a list of these are my favorites.
You got to break it down though, like you
right,
said.
You know what I'm saying? Like
most influential,
because someone can be my favorite and not necessarily be one of the all-time best.
Because if you say most influential hip hop artists of all time, it sounds crazy, but Soulja Boy would be in the top 10 because of the way he shifted when he came in.
No, I mean you got it.
No, he ain't on my top 10 on any list, but I'm just saying like
he ain't on my top anything list. But
but if
to be fair, you got to give him his credit as far as he was the first one to revolutionize like the internet. You know, like he came in at the cusp of the, selling ringtones. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And like he almost like has become a parody of himself. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? A lot of times, I was the first one to do this. He was the first one to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people are his sons to some extent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I like how, bringing it back, I like how Cole shouts out the people that influenced him.
Yeah.
I like how, like, Nas, if you listen to Nas, he'll shout out the Cool G Raps, the Big Daddy Kanes, the Rakims, right? Mm-hmm. The same way that now, a Cole will shout out the Nas's and the J's and the and the artists that influence, and even like the Cameron and the Dipsets and all that influence what he do. Yeah. And Kendrick, like, MC8, Corrupt, like, these are my big homies. Like, this is who, and now it's like the next generation keep pop, and you reach back, you make sure to still pay homage to who,
because the originals didn't have nobody to reach back to.
Well, for one,
it's a young culture.
And for two, they were influenced by people that we just don't know, right? Even if you go back to Sugar Hill Gang or whoever, it's like they was rapping raps that, and I might be misquoting, but Melly Mel or somebody wrote.
But you never heard that, you know what I mean? We never heard that shout out. So now it's beautiful to see,
and they weren't able to reap the benefits financially that now the artists are able to reap. So that's why, once again, you owe them a debt of gratitude because they laid the foundation.
Was it Aretha Franklin? It was somebody
was talking about. No, it wasn't Aretha. It was Shaka Khan was going in on Mary J. Blige.
No,
and
not even
else.
that.
Okay, yeah.
It was in Vegas. It was a show. I don't know who it was, but it was a legend, a singing legend. And shout out Chance the Rapper for helping her get her master's back.
Dope.
I forgot who it was, but it was random as fuck. Chance
but that's dope though. That's dope.
But it's like, but that's what I love to see. It's like so much of our culture, not just music, but everything, is like stolen from us, and then the legends who deserve it don't have shit to their name.
And that goes back to listening to your old heads, listening to your OGs, listening to your elders, listening to whatever verbiage you want to use, because guess what? They got a lot of good game that can benefit you. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to shut out, oh man, you an old head, I ain't listening to you. Okay, cool. I was going to put you up on game how you can get your masters because I remember, or I was going to put you up on game on why you shouldn't sign that contract because I had that same contract in front of me 20 years ago and I got tied up in the fuss stuff, and I had to get out of it.
I'm just getting my money.
That part. So you can listen to me and I can actually save you, or you can go ahead and, I know everything and mess yourself off. It's your call. You know what I'm saying? But...
I'm saying we can go on for days, but I want to hold you on. It is a Sunday, so you know what time it is, bro. Before I let you walk up out of here, came in with the Khaled's, my bad. Khaled's, I can't even speak.
Listen.
You know what I mean? God did.
God did.
Before I let you go, brother, man, on this beautiful Easter Sunday.
Yes, sir.
What is something that you are going to tap into once you leave this pod today, man?
Oh, man.
Soulful Sunday. Let the people know what you're tapping into.
Man,
I can go first.
See, and please do, because last time I actually kind of tried to prepare and I didn't think about it this time. Yeah. So yeah, you might inspire me. So
me personally, so I had a conversation with my girl. We're gonna do a pod about it. We didn't do it yet. About once we had our daughter, we really became like our lives changed clearly. But it was like to the choir, so much of what we do is just so much on her and our families, and trying to make sure everyone gets ample time.
I know where you're going with this, and I love it.
We forgot who we really were.
Ding, 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 ding.
So we're going to Cancun later this month for Manny's wedding. So the whole thing was, using this trip and any other free time we have to doing things we used to do. Because she was saying, and I even said it too, like, I don't always know what makes me genuinely happy. I'm a people pleaser these days because I'm taking care of so many people in different ways, and now I'm getting back to taking care of Tevin. She's getting back to taking care of Cheyenne. So
and taking care of each other though.
Yeah, exactly.
Because and I don't want to, be too transparent, but when you have your first kid with somebody, it changes. Or when you have kids with somebody, it changes the dynamic, because it goes from being about you and that person, and it's the oh, we're gonna go to the movies and we're gonna go on a date and we're gonna do this, and it's like, oh, how you doing, what you doing today, to it shit gets real. So now the focus is on this child or these children, right? So it's easy to get so into parent mode that you lose what made that relationship what it was, and then y'all drift apart, and then it can splinter into whatever, right? If you're not careful. So I love that you said that, because if you with somebody that you truly want to be with and you truly love, that's important. You got to do that. You have to make sure that in the midst of now it's mommy and daddy Inc., it's also, okay, I love you, us, and making that a priority, because it's easy to get so caught up in work, being and a parent.
Time flies quick, man.
Everything else.
7 days a week.
Drift until it's, too wide of a chasm to fix, or, or it's a hard chasm to
and the arguments start coming up.
Right.
Communication's out there.
Because you're not, because whereas, and it might be something small that would have been remedied
and that's how we got to this point, was we were having little small tips.
Which is natural. I guarantee you, if you talk to your parents, they'll tell you the same thing. I guarantee you, if I talk to my, folks, my parents have been married for about to be 45 years.
Ooh, that's a blessing.
You know what I'm saying? So
the point of it for us was like, let's nip this in the bud now while she's young, but also while we're still young in our relationship, and start really setting this groundwork, so that way next time we don't have to set aside 2 weeks to do this. It's like, every day we give small affirmations, small moments, take care of each other, and
it seems like it seems forced. It's like, oh, well, you shouldn't have to try to. Anything that you actually care about, you do have to put concerted effort into
100%,
or you will see some slippage in it. I don't care what it is. If it's your fitness, you can't, do it every once in a while and expect to maintain the same level of fitness, right? If it's a relationship,
if it's podcasting, you got to be up in here every week recording.
If it's MCing, and you drift away from
this to myself on that one.
Hey, accountability, I like it. I mean? But no, like if you go from being in the booth and writing and being about your craft consistently to doing it every once in a while, there's gonna be some slippage there. You know what I'm saying? No matter how great you are in a relationship, whether it be any kind of relationship. You have to make it a priority. So that's not fake or forced. It's, look, you are important to me. I know I'm important to you. This is something that we both want. So if it's something that we both want, we have to make sure to
put in that effort.
Put in that effort, even when we don't feel like it.
I'm working on that with friendships. I talked to Karan the other day, and I was like, bro, I need to kick it. And he's like, bro,
what
I
up,
don't know
Karan?
I'm going to come through for a pot. I'm like, nah, bro, we need to.
Just in general, and it don't even got to be nothing big. It's not transactional, and it got to be nothing big. But it's, saying, just like things that are important to you, you got to tend to. If you got a garden, you got to tend to your garden. If you stop watering your flowers, they going to wither. Ooh, that was good. And that was a freestyle. I like that.
Oh, that's nice talk. I'm a boy. You know what I mean?
Hey, man. You know what I'm saying? The boy got a little bit of wisdom there.
Sidebar, I got a video of you back at Manny's at the penthouse way back. Freestyling, bro. I don't know how I found out.
The boy got bars.
I don't know how.
I'm a Renaissance man. I'm talented in many ways.
In the living room, this boy had a mic in his hand and everything. I don't know what we was doing with karaoke. Bro.
I remember that. I remember who I was there with. I remember all that. Yeah. That's funny.
So what you
got to send me that. I
got you.
I probably got it somewhere if I really search, but you got to send that to me.
I don't know how I found it, bro, but
man. Just
it ain't gotta be heavy. It can be
no. I'm just continue to tap into literally on a daily basis, trying to be better than I was the day before. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Just like trying to continue to grow and be better and learn from mistakes and you know what I'm saying? Just be the best version of me I can be. Like the saying, like, be 1% better. You know what I'm saying? Than you were the day before or the last time that you did something. But not just, you know what I'm saying, really in every avenue, just try to continue to focus on being the best version of it I can be, and trying to continue to work at it. Because sometimes you get caught up in the routine of things.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In anything. You get caught up in the routine of it. And even if you're good at it, you still get caught up in the routine of it, and you develop blind spots. So it's like, okay, always trying to get better, always trying to like be open to listening and open to learning from other people, which I'm pretty good about. Like I tell people, I'm big on like, yo, hey, I'm still in that, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, especially, you know, because I'm in that gym environment every day. So if I see somebody, yo, okay, so why'd you, ooh, that's good. I'm about to steal that. I'm about to do that. You know, I'm about to use that in my own routine, or I'm about to apply that to this client, or whatever the case may be. It's not, you know what I'm saying? I'll never be like, oh, I know everything. It's like, nah, that was dope. I'm still in that, bro.
Yeah.
I'll give you your credit for it, but
That
I'm still in
humility
that.
right there is what makes you grow as a person, though. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? So just continuing to try to grow and not repeat mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it's like something happens and you go through it and you get through it, and then you go back right into the same habits that led you into that problem that you got into, that you was praying about, and you know what I'm saying, man, help me get out of this. And then you get out of it, and then you go right back to doing the same dumb stuff you was doing that put you in that position to begin with. So I guess that's what I'm gonna say is I'm gonna tap into just continuing to try to improve daily and being conscious about that and being intentional about that.
There you go.
There we go. So that's mine.
That right there,
That was
intentional,
good.
just hit right there.
That part.
I know we saw in the hallway, but outside of the room, I got move with purpose.
Yeah.
Everything I do, whether it's work, whether it's home, I do it with a purpose.
Yeah.
Because I realize, do you write down the shit that you mess up on, like your mistakes? You write them down?
No, that's something I could, and that's no. And the moment you said it, I was like, yo, that's something, you know what I'm saying, that is incredible to do. You know what I'm saying? But no, I don't do that. But I might start.
Like at work, I hold a very large title of my job with all the groups and the corporations I work with. So when I like mess up on a rooming list, or I mess up on like an assignment, I write it down. And then what I do is I put it on my checklist, and I look at it, I'm like, okay, is this really a new check, or is something that I could put into this bubble and put that in my routine? Then I start looking at that differently. You know what I mean?
That's smart. You know what I'm saying? That's real smart.
I don't mess up a lot, but when I do, I'm
talk
like,
your talk.
Right, I mean, I'm
pretty good. I don't make mistakes like that, but when I do,
it's like,
I
that
try
was
to learn
a simple
from
ass mistake. How'd you do that? And it's like, oh, because you thought you knew everything. You was trying to breeze through it, and you need to slow down. So now you got to go back in and do this. So I like that though.
That's good.
That's a beautiful thing.
Man, listen, man, we pretty awesome up in here, man.
I'm just saying, you know what I mean? You need to get signed or something, but
oh shoot, man,
it is a beautiful Sunday. I know that it is. Damn, it's 5:00 already.
Yeah, but it's still light outside. So
it is. You still go play outside. I got a barbecue to get.
I gotta get it. Matter of fact, I'm about to enlist you. I gotta get a fit. I gotta get a fit pick, man.
Oh, you already know I got you.
You know what I'm saying? I gotta. You know, it ain't nothing too crazy, but
it's clean though.
It's clean. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get a fit pick so I can be like, I'm still here.
You know what my thing is?
I get these fits off when I choose to.
This podcast is, if that wasn't there, my thing was like the fireplace. What I do is cut the lights down a little low, put the fireplace on, and when people come in, I'll be like, yo, what's on your feet? And they get a shot of the feet by the fire, and it's just like that cool ass.
That would be dope. See, there you go, man. Constant improvement.
You know what I mean? Like everyone gets the same background, but it's like
constant evolution. Like, yeah, man.
You know? But before we go, I know you did your tap in segment, but anything you want to share with the people, anything, words of wisdom, anything?
Man, I appreciate y'all listening if you got this far, because I know we both long-winded.
I know. Myself, like hour and a half.
Myself for real.
An hour and a half max, and this shit is about 3 hours, I think.
You can trim it down, man. just keep all the good stuff. But I think the majority of it was pretty good if I'm going to keep it a buck.
It's all fire.
But no, man, just, you know what I'm saying, shout out to everybody listening. Shout out to you for having me on here, man. Like I said, it always makes me feel good that you even want to have me on here. I'm like, man, hey, all right, you hold me in that high of esteem that you think people want to hear what I got to say. Let's do it.
Absolutely.
But nah, yeah, so, man, shout out to you. Shout out to everybody listening. Man, appreciate it.
There we go. For everyone else, this is going to drop next week, so I hope your Easter Sunday was beautiful.
You know what I'm saying? Got to hurry up and get Bobby. You know what I'm saying? Get the Bobby, big 3 up in here.
Get well soon, brother. We're going to get you back in here.
Yeah.
I know he was looking forward to this. But everyone, he already said it for me. Thank y'all so much for listening. Would love to get the feedback, so make sure y'all leave comments. Let us know what y'all want to hear, what y'all don't want to hear. You know what I mean? I'm going to play it by ear. You know what I mean? What you might not want to hear, I might not give a fuck. But you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. I appreciate it. But until the next time, it's been your boy Tevin Denzel, my boy Karama in the booth, KC Knows, a.k.a. Mr. Steel Sharp and Steel Fitness himself. And until the next time, we out. Peace.